Good evening, everybody. It's Saturday night. We're on Comic Mayhem. We've got a great show for each night. We've got Rob Liefeld talk, top 5 Rob Liefeld. We got comic reviews. We got Snake Eyes review. We got some really cool stuff for tonight. We even got Star Trek talk. So, and on that note, hang out, enjoy the show, cue the music, and we'll see you in a minute. There. Now we're back.
Hey.
Yep. We had to start a little late. We were in such a deep conversation.
Oh, you're having a stroke tonight? This is like, you're like Liefeld.
I know. I feel all rushed because it was like the last few things I was trying to do real quick to get the show going.
Yeah, we got a crazy amount of topics for tonight.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
But yeah, we went to Ish's store today to hang out with everybody's good friend Rob Liefeld. He did a signing in store, which it was pretty packed, right?
It was.
Ish. Yeah.
It was quite packed.
How many people do you think were through the store today?
Way to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we had over 100.
Not bad.
Yeah, it was a hell of a day. I literally just closed the shop, came home, logged on for the show. So it's like my head is still spinning. My body is completely exhausted because it was a really crazy day. But
wait, were you on Rob Liefeld's back massage duty? Is that why you're so tired?
Yes.
You had to keep him comfortable.
Very sore. I was all day.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, those divas need extra love and care to keep them signing.
I'm over here trying to upload the video I got of the comic store. So we'll when we get to Rob, nice. we'll talk more about that, and I'll have those videos, and we could just throw that video on replay. But yeah, so the Rob Liefeld stuff was cool. We got Snake Eyes talk. The movie came out. Only 2 of the panel members have seen it, but you guys know how it works around here. Spoilers. What is that?
What's a spoiler? I don't know what a spoiler is.
So
that's the mold.
I rushed to see the movie last night just because I didn't want it spoiled tonight. So I was like, I have to go see it now.
I'm the worst G.I. Joe fan ever because I didn't. But I'll be honest, I was a little angry at what we were getting. I felt like I always want like this. Why can't we just get this sometimes? And I get it. They had to make the story mean something, and it just some of the things just seem so cheesy to me. But I ran into Ish. Ish said he saw it. He said, whatever he said. But we're going to start this off by asking Travis how he thought the movie played out.
Yeah, I didn't know it was out yet. I thought we were talking the trailer. So I watched. Listen, I did my homework. I did watch the final trailer to Snake Eyes. And here is what I think happens in this movie. A ninja, played by the titular character Snake Eyes, travels back to, I'm going to say, Japan. There is a clan involved. Clan with a C, not clan with a K. There's some daddy issues. There's a good 20-minute car chase. There's a warehouse, old school 80s ninja kind of like dropping from the rafters fight scene. And a sword of power.
Not quite. You didn't quite nail it, but pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah, I'd say 80%.
Oh, I forgot. Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum do show up at some point in this movie, correct?
Yeah. I hate to break it to you, but the 3 ninjas do not appear in this property.
Ah, dang it.
Yeah, no. Ish, do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to go first?
Sure, I'll start. I mean, so I'm giving the movie a thumbs up. I liked it. It was good. I'm not gonna say it's very good, but it's good. And just to preface it all, I'm an old school G.I. Joe fan. I grew up with G.I. Joe. It means a lot to me. And so, and sometimes they make a movie and you find out they've changed a lot of things. It's, but with this one, they definitely changed a lot. And in the end, I had no problem with it. I liked, I thought the main guy was very solid in the role. And it's, a lot of complaints about, like, he has his helmet off the entire movie and he speaks. So, I mean, unless we're going to make a silent ninja movie, I don't see what other option they really had.
Well, Ish, you were talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot of ninja action. One thing I actually found. Yeah, go ahead.
You were talking about being an old school G.I. Joe fan, and that's all I remember from as a kid in the 80s. Has Snake Eyes ever talked in any of like the new comic reiterations or anything like that?
Amen.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think
there may have been somewhere where he said like one word, but otherwise, no.
And my understanding is he lost the ability to speak in the comics.
That could be
right?
the Snake Eyes we have yet to see.
Ish is on a delay, so he's going to come in like
Vietnam.
10 seconds after us.
So he lost like his vocal cords or his voice box or something in the comics or in the lore for G.I. Joe. In this movie, though, he's talking all the way throughout. We get to hear Henry Golding's luscious. I don't know. Is it British, Singaporean? I don't know where his accent is supposed to be from, but he doesn't sound American to me. He sounds British.
He's Malaysian.
Yeah, but he has every now and then he has this little lilt that sounds very British in his speech. He's supposed to be playing an American. I did not like the movie very much. I found myself being very bored by the ninja action. There was a lot of like, the PG-13, like this is more PG style action where you see them swing their swords around and then all the bad guys just fall over dead, right? They just
kind of like an Indiana Jones before he shoots them.
Yeah, right. Like in G.I. Joe, they would line up on opposite sides of the battlefield and then just run at each other shooting lasers and no one would ever get hit because they had to show up for the next episode, right? It was kind of like that, only the bad guys would all fall down no matter how far away the sword was swung. They just fall over dead. There was a long car chase. There's a fight scene on the back of a truck that was towing cars, those trucks. And that was kind of fun. But overall, I found myself wondering when it was going to get exciting. I've seen ninja movies that I find really, really exciting, and martial arts movies in a more general sense that are really exciting. Some of my favorites are Ninja Assassin, that came out, I think, in 2009. And it was basically the premise of Snake Eyes. You have this kind of orphan kid who gets adopted by a ninja clan, and then he betrays the ninja clan, and he goes solo, and then all the ninjas are after him. I felt like the ninjas in this weren't very ninja-like. They didn't do a whole lot of ninja stuff.
Sounds like my freshman year, summer before being a sophomore in high school.
I don't know. Snake Eyes did plenty of ninja stuff when he was infiltrating and typical running across the roofs.
Well, let's define a couple of things. What is ninja? What is ninja stuff? So stealth. Is he stealthy in this movie?
Well, look, dude, like he can chill like that when a snake's like around him. Like he looks pretty stealthy to me.
Okay, so check. What other ninja stuff are we talking about here? What else do you have to have?
Well, I mean, you got to be able to throw the ninja grappling hook up there and
classic ninja weapons. So katana, shuriken.
Yeah, sword.
So does he use ninja tools?
He doesn't use ninja tools. He uses ninja swords.
All his ninja tools are right here.
Does he always wear the visor?
He does not. He wears the visor as like a tease at the last scene. He doesn't wear his traditional outfit at all.
Yeah, shurikens.
There was an odd
ninja
lack
stars.
of shuriken of throwing stars.
I'm keeping always down. That's a minus. No
Yeah, that's a
shuriken.
huge
Yeah,
minus.
but what I did hear is
One thing I
that,
found interesting.
go ahead, Ish.
Oh, I was gonna say one thing I found interesting because it was just different is later on in the end there was a couple guns, but pretty much throughout the entire movie there are no guns whatsoever. There's no gunplay. Action movie with 0 guns. And I was like, that's interesting. It also made me question, like, everyone in Japan has a sword always on them at all times. But if you could get past that,
That
it
tracks.
was
Isn't that
neat
the
to
way it
see an
is,
action
Travis?
movie
That tracks.
without gunplay.
Now, was everybody in the show wearing taba? Like, if you're dressed like a ninja or in some kind of a ninja kung fu outfit, you should technically be
They
wearing.
didn't have the
taba.
shoes. They did
They
not have
had
the
no
shoes.
taba. Wow, that's an F. That's an F.
I mean, there's also like the classic mystic part of ninjutsu, right, where they have like the hand signs and the spells, but there wasn't any of that in this either. So that like the mystic ninja stuff, they kind of swapped that out for just straight up magic.
Smoke pellets. I mean, for God's
There was
sake,
one-
Batman's got smoke pellets. Did these
One
guys
smoke.
have
There was one smoke pellet scene.
Wow.
I think they said use the smoke pellets sparingly.
We're on a budget.
Can I tell you?
Pellet.
Shout out to Jim Cotta. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
Since we're talking ninjas, I gotta tell you guys a quick story about. I had this student. Oh, maybe it was like 10 years ago in high school. He was this big kid, big boy, really long, shaggy hair, and his thing. He was a little socially awkward and stuff like that. But he wanted to be a ninja more than anything else. In the morning before school, he would ninja chop the basketball things, and he would dress like a ninja. And he kind of talked like this. It was like straight out of the book. Like, oh, this kid, like, oh, he's still developing who he is. And I remember one time, let's call him Elijah. I was like, Elijah, you got some snacks there, huh? What are you eating? He goes, ninja snacks. And I go, Elijah, why do you have an extra shirt in your bag, in a Ziploc bag? And he's like, oh, my mom puts it in there because sometimes I get sweaty. And I'm like, Elijah, I hope one day you become a ninja. And
Elijah is a ninja already.
He's like,
ninja.
anytime someone says ninja, I'm like, ninja snacks.
Ninja snacks. I love it.
Okay, so the same thing that Elijah's going to need to become a ninja was something that was lacking here, which is training montage. There's no ninja training montage.
Really? That's surprising.
It's very surprising. Like, it's always like this classic, like, meditation and
Ish, you're on mute, Ish. Sorry, brother. You're on mute.
There's always a classic
unmute
ninja.
yourself. You can unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I got him.
Okay.
The classic ninja training montage really wasn't there. They had some entertaining like ninja tests where you had to be clever and not just
he had
strong.
3 challenges. He had 3 challenges he had to overcome in order to join the Arashikage clan.
Yeah, but they were more like Jedi challenges than ninja challenges. Wouldn't you agree?
The one with the
One
hard
was the
master. I
Kobayashi
kind of
Maru.
like the challenge with the hard master. He had to take a bowl of water from the hard master without spilling a drop.
So how do you do that? Do you do like some Sub-Zero type shit on it?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
He tried. He tried that at first.
He had 3 tries. The first 2 he tried through, physical, like a move,
tries.
whatever. It all failed, and then he remembered something his father had told him about humility, and he turned to him and he just asked him politely for it, and the hard master had no choice but to hand it to him. Personally, that was kind of a neat
Jedi
moment
shit
in
there.
the
That
movie.
ain't ninja.
Yeah.
I told you,
That's
it's just
Jedi
Jedi.
shit.
It's like
You
like,
want to
let's
give
just-
me the bowl of water? Yeah, I want to give you this bowl of water.
I want some ninja snacks.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. And that was pretty cool, man. I gotta admit, that was pretty cool. I'd be cool with that.
it was.
It
clever.
didn't work.
Like,
It didn't work for Oliver Twist.
The Hard Master though kind of looks like I don't. Why is that guy Hard Master? Like Hard
That
Master
guy's a
wasn't.
super famous martial artist.
Oh,
I
he
forgot
is?
his name
Okay.
escapes
I feel like
me
a
right
real
now, but
moron
he's
right
big
now.
time.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
that's
like,
if
why
you're
is
into
that
martial
guy
arts,
Hard
that's
Master?
cool to
I
see
mean-
that dude as the hard master.
yeah. He was a total martial arts cameo. He's been in a lot of other martial arts movies too.
Well, fuck.
Oh fuck!
And then
But again,
they
like,
had the Blind Master also.
yeah,
I see that dude. That dude looks pretty dope, right? That
Yeah.
dude's like, why isn't what's his name from Wu-Tang? That dude.
yeah, RZA. RZA
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Why
Why isn't RZA that dude? Yeah.
Well, he was in
Fucking-
the other G.I. Joe movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
is
he
it-
wasn't in it either.
Is it possible that they make Scooby Ninja snacks, or is that just Hong Kong Phooey?
Wow.
I'll allow
I'm
it.
gonna be,
I'll
no, I
allow
need
it.
an answer.
I'll
I'm gonna be
allow
up all
Okay.
night
I
looking
asked-
for this answer.
I asked Ish if there were any Easter eggs, and he kind of like there at the end there was a couple, but nothing really major.
Unless there's stuff I missed.
like no Zartan anything. You didn't see any Zartan anything, right?
No Zartan. They had when it kind of becomes G.I. Joe, there's a moment he opens up a crate of illegal weapons being smuggled by the Yakuza, and there's a Cobra logo on it. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Cobra. And then you find out there's the Baroness de Cobra. She's an arms dealer and a terrorist, and they're working with this clan, this Yakuza clan that Snake Eyes happens to be, I guess, like a hitman for, because that's how the Yakuza hired him with the promise that they would find the man who murdered his father. And he accepted that. So I also want to point this out, that in the beginning of the movie, Snake Eyes is a bad guy, and Storm Shadow, Tommy, is a hero. And you get,
I like
and
that.
I thought that was kind of a beautiful
I
story
like
arc.
that.
There's betrayal, there's double cross.
That was my next
movie,
question. What was
They
the
cross,
Storm
and
Shadow
then the
cool?
movie ends with Storm Shadow finally in the white, two swords. The swords also represent a change in leadership. So I thought that was a very cool strain throughout the movie. And both actors, I thought the actor playing Tommy was also very strong in the role. And I mean, this is accepting that this is a B movie. I'm not saying this is like Oscar material, anything. It's a G.I. Joe movie based on our favorite toys, but it is elevated above what I feel above the previous two movies.
I would say that I think the problem with the betrayals is that everybody was betraying everybody. There were so many double crosses. It was hard to keep track. Tommy betrayed his clan, and you got, and then you've got.
He didn't betray the clan. He just failed them.
And then you've got
By
but then
using
he turns and he runs away, and he's joins up with Cobra at the end. But all along the way, I'm like, okay, so we see Snake Eyes initially join forces with the eventual bad guy to
Kenta.
find the guy who killed Kenta, to find the guy who killed his dad. And then the next scene, we see Snake Eyes betray Kenta in favor of Arashikage, Storm Shadow. But there's not an explanation as to why. And I was like, okay, clearly this is going to be a double cross, because we don't see the path. There's no path from him switching loyalty from Kenta, the guy who's promised him the thing, and Storm Shadow, who's just a dumb guy who's gotten in too deep with the Yakuza. And so is like telegraphed right away. Yeah, this is going to be a betrayal already. And then all along the way, the more that Snake Eyes finds out what Cobra is and what they do and how bad they are, he's like, okay, I'm not really into this anymore. I know I was all about this lifelong quest for revenge, but now I'm having second thoughts. It's like, well, why did you go to Cobra to tell them that? You didn't need to do that. And it's just like so many double crosses. And then even amongst the Cobra side, there was double crosses. And I was like, okay, at a certain point, you've got to really simplify the threads here. There's so many betrayal threads going on. There's no loyalty to anybody. And so the audience, me in particular, I had a hard time being loyal to anybody either. I know how it's supposed to turn out, so I'm rooting for Snake Eyes, but at the same time, it's like there's just way too many threads going on here.
You didn't feel loyalty to the clan matron? I kind of felt her character is what kind of held them all together in the end.
Yeah, but she was so mean, right? That's the other thing, is like the people who are
because she was a lady ninja. an old lady ninja. You know, she was salty.
Yeah, but she was mean, right? So the people who are good and moral are dicks, and the people who are bad are also dicks. And there's not really, and even Snake Eyes, the good guy, is a dick, and he can't even get done the thing that he had set out to do, right?
And you're a dick. You're all dicks.
So everybody, like
They should have named
everybody
it
in this
Nightwing.
movie, yeah, I had a hard time like rooting for anybody, and just the convolution of all the plot threads. It's like we need to simplify this.
So they got to make 5 more movies to get all the double crossing out, or what?
Well, they definitely, by the end of it, it's very simple. It's that Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes has to go and make peace with Storm Shadow.
Did it make you kind of crave or get an itch to see some more ninja movies on the big screen? There's hasn't been like any big time ninja movies. They have the B movies that come out directly to DVD. Did this kind of like bring you back to the 80s, early 90s when it seemed like there was a ninja movie every year?
Partly ninja movie.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying?
The Wolverine.
Oh yeah, the Wolverine, that one movie. The last ninja movie I enjoyed was Ninja Assassin, and that was like I said, that was what this plot should have been, and they could have just put some G.I. Joe window dressing on it. But with the PG-13 rating, like there's no violence, and a ninja movie needs to have lots of violence, right? People are losing limbs, they're losing their heads,
like in the
blood
Raid.
spurts. Yeah, like it's just,
But
even if it's just like bare knuckle brawling. It's not in the spirit of G.I. Joe, but at the same time, it was so ridiculous. Like there's just waving their swords around, and then people are falling over dead. I was just like, this is too much. I can't suspend my disbelief this far.
Like a Mel Brooks movie.
Oh, and then the other thing, right? So G.I. Joe is very much like tech based, right? But there was a MacGuffin in the movie that was very much magic. It was this like stone that would just burn whatever you pointed it at. Yeah, you just like boop, and then
Like
the people would vaporize, buildings would light on fire. It was. I was like, okay, this feels very out of place for the rest of what we've seen so far.
So, but at least they're taking this, they're opening it up to the G.I. Joe world. Baroness and Scarlet showed up at the end, and yada, 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 I guess. So did he join G.I. Joe at the end?
They talk about what G.I. Joe is, yeah.
They made an offer.
The movie literally ends with the opening of the doors to the whole world of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, she made an offer to him to join the Joes, and he's like, I really think I want to do this, just not yet. And he's like, I got to go take care of Storm Shadow first. So he hasn't joined the Joes yet.
He's going to come back mute and whatever. And that's we're going to get our no talking Snake Eyes you watch. But maybe that'd be stupid to have a movie where your best character doesn't talk.
Well, maybe, but on the other hand, then his fists really have to do the talking, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If I was a kid, I'd be playing the hell out of Fortnite as Snake Eyes right now. They put Snake Eyes in Fortnite, which is cool as hell. And man, this game seems super cool. I'm just too old to play it nowadays. But if I was a kid, I'd be all over the place with Fortnite. So I thought that was pretty dope.
3 questions.
All right.
Is Baroness hot?
Not as hot as Sienna Miller.
Really?
Sienna Miller was
no
way
idea
hotter.
Sienna Miller hot.
Dude,
check
Baroness
this out.
was
I'm gonna check
always
this out.
hot.
Baroness.
Okay, question 2. If a plane or helicopter or any flying aircraft in the movie crashed or got shot down, did everyone parachute out?
That never happened.
Really? You can't have a G.I. Joe show without everybody parachuting out of the plane or the aircraft. I mean, that's quintessential.
It didn't
I feel
happen.
a little let down.
Here's the
Third and
Baroness.
final question. You said that it was very esque to the toys we grew up on. Did they have Kung Fu grip in the movie?
There was a point where Henry Golding wraps a chain around his hand so that he doesn't lose his sword, and he loses both the chain and the sword.
Not
So
even
I don't.
kung
I
fu.
would say no to the kung fu grip.
Wow. You guys, I was.
He has
considering
yet
watching
to master it.
Hey,
Wow.
The
listen.
Serpentor. This might be an Easter egg. They're the snakes that they had in the movie. That I feel is kind of also opening the door to Serpentor down the road. So the clan has this cave that has these giant anaconda snakes, like Star Wars size snakes.
They were
And
very
if you
big.
go in the pit and they don't eat you, that means you're pure of heart. It's one of the challenges that
It's the last
the
challenge.
snakes
in fact.
have to accept you.
That's the big one.
In fact, yes. And the whole time I'm watching this, I'm thinking, oh, this is somehow going to one day tie into Serpentor.
That is a thing. I don't know if my wife has a dreadful fear of snakes. So if you know anybody who suffers from that kind of fear, this is not the movie for them. Those snakes were very big, very slithery, very snaky.
Very snaky.
Yeah, really, really snaky. And there were 3 of them. So just watch out.
I'm trying to refrain from ever saying that's what she said. I'm trying not to say that anymore.
I'm just
We're here for you,
thinking,
Kyle.
You already said everybody in the movie was a dick. Why wouldn't you have big giant snakes all over the place? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think I might be passing on this whole Snake Eyes thing. You guys did a good job of breaking it down, and it was interesting, like hearing the pause of it. But the movie sounds not to me.
Terrible.
Not for me. I like what Abe said about the challenges. I like the
I'm saying
challenges.
it's not terrible at all. It was very enjoyable, very entertaining. It's not a movie I chose to nitpick.
Yeah, I would say it's worse than terrible because it's not really bad and it's there's just nothing really interesting about it other than the giant snakes,
Which are too snaky.
which are very snaky. I mean, I don't have a problem with snakes, but my wife does, and so I was like, on that end, I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't bring her to this. But other than the snake things, like there's nothing that I would write home about with this movie. Everybody. It's just forgettable, in a month or two. I'm gonna be like, when did I see Snake Eyes? Oh my, I can't remember.
Dear Father, it has been a fortnight since I last wrote. Don't go see Snake Eyes.
I cannot recall if I've seen Snake Eyes.
it sounds like the movie's a bit phallic.
Speaking of phallic.
Yeah, we just launched a penis outside of the atmosphere, so that's good.
Yeah, let's.
Nice transition.
Jeffrey,
all right.
Was that good?
I thought that like Spaceballs was a big time joke, and then Amazon puts out that shit's kind of crazy.
Yeah, wait long enough, and all of those jokes become reality.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking crazy, man. How much was it? It ended up being $43,000 per second for those people. They were up there for 11 minutes or something.
Yeah.
What a waste of money. Can you imagine having that much money to waste $43,000 a second?
You're talking to a bunch of comic collectors. Show him your stack, Solo. Show him that stack you bought today.
Speaking of that, let's get into the Rob Liefeld stuff. So, pretty big day over at Fantastic Worlds for Ish. You had Rob Liefeld come into the store and signed books for everybody.
This is what he told us. We had a nice, very comfortable chair set up for him. And he said, no chair. He said, if the fans stand, I stand.
That's not why
he's just like everybody
Oh my gosh.
And everybody stood in line. Right. He stood all day long. That's what he said. They stand, I stand.
Well, no wonder he was. Never mind.
Yeah.
No wonder
he was.
Ish,
signing
it looks like
machine.
It looks like you felt obligated to stand up there too all day.
I did stand all day. Well,
nice.
I worked there, but no, I thought he was a really cool dude. He was so awesome with everyone. He was really funny too. Just the guy's a rock star.
when you have people come in, speaking of that, when you have people come in to sign for your store, is it like a performance where they get writers where they are like, oh, their contact person is like, oh, they have to have this here at the store when they come in?
What do you mean?
Like writers.
You know, like a rock star, like Aerosmith's like, we want like 1,000 green M&Ms. And
yeah, that's the famous one is the M&Ms, right?
Yeah, that was Van Halen.
No, not at all.
M&Ms in the bowl.
Okay, good.
You know why they put that writer in is they just wanted to make sure the green M&Ms was just to make sure that they read it all the way through.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought that was a Kardashian thing.
It's been adapted 3 or 4 times.
You know, he had these hilarious Deadpool toilet seat covers.
You did.
What?
Like plastic, like fake plastic ones, or like
what you sit on when you're in a public restroom.
Thin paper. Yeah, and then it says this is all Fox could afford, and then there's the Deadpool's face, and he was signing those.
That's pretty funny.
What did you see most people having to sign?
There was quite a few 98s, a lot of cable. People were getting X-Force 11 signed.
A lot of X-Force 11s.
Solo? What
original art?
I got a Riptide #2.
Yeah, he signed some original art.
Hey, that guy's good looking.
Hey.
Yeah, that's a good shirt, man. I like that. Hey, it's the one you got on right there.
I got a Snake Eyes signed by him.
Look at that. There's little-ish.
He signed
Kyle
a lot of pops
up.
too. A lot of pop, a lot of action figures.
Who's that badass motherfucker in the gray shirt back there?
I was surprised at how many pops were there. There was a ton of pops. And not like the repetitive same pop over and over. I saw multiple different ones.
We have over 700 different pops.
There was a lot of people there with some big pops and a lot of like fully loaded pops.
And we had a lot of just random walk-ins who just walked in and were like, "Whoa, what's going on in here?" And they just ended up paying the admission, buying something to get signed, getting in line. A lot of people were running to ATMs.
I think Murat Michaels was there too. I saw Murat was there.
Yeah, Rob and Murat are best friends, like real best friends since the 80s.
Ooh, 9.4 preacher.
So
nice.
they're buds.
Oh, yeah, there's great books in that store. Like I said, I hate that store. You can't go in there without dropping $100.
I just go there with no money, so that's what fixes my problem.
Yeah, I'm sure Ish is happy to hear that.
Yeah, we love that.
I just want to go put my fingerprints on everything.
Yeah, there's great books all over. I mean, and while you're standing in line, because I didn't get a chance to go in earlier and get the like fast pass ticket or the head ticket or VIP or any of that, and so I'm just leaning on long boxes, slowly walking down the queue and waiting for it because they were doing a little VIP first. So what do you do when you're standing in front of 30 of the freaking long boxes right there, but you just start digging?
Don't lean on them.
Through all of them, you're digging through all of them, and you're like, "What am I doing?" Like, but if I keep digging, I'm not going to have money left to get the signing done. There were so many good books in there.
I like you got pictures with them. Everyone, I mean,
and there's we see the back of him. There's Bill Ponsetti, who was on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a cool little signing. It was awesome to see.
We had a ton of CGC submissions, a lot. So that was cool.
Look at Brian in the corner.
Yeah, it looked like almost everybody who got something signed, I mean, on a large percentage, easily 90%, I would say, ended up sending something off for grading. Maybe not everything they got signed, but at least 1 or 2 things.
Well, it's see you in February.
Yeah. But I mean,
what are you saying to him right there? What are you guys talking about?
You know what? I'm actually telling him that I thought his when I got that first Snake Eyes Dead game and I saw the Snake Eyes on the cover, I was like, fuck, this is the best drawn Snake Eyes I've ever seen. That's my personal opinion.
Right there, he goes, this is, and he's like, oh yeah, it's my best work, and he's just nodding, yep. And, you got to think.
Actually, he goes, yeah, I love the book. It's a fun story, and I said, not the story. You're the way you drew Snake Eyes, and he was like, okay, I could tell that he appreciated that, and that was genuine. I really think that's you look at that head to toe, That's one of his best drawn characters, I think.
He looked like, oh, fuck, why is this guy talking to me? And then he goes, oh, fuck, he's telling me nice things. Okay, all right, I'm going to listen.
He was really nice. I mean, that's the first time I ever met Rob Liefeld, and he was very cordial. He apologized profusely for being, taking time, and thanked me several times for being patient and waiting and that stuff. I was like, yeah, no big deal, dude. Like I didn't expect to come here and walk in and be done. Like I asked him if he was going to have dinner with Todd. I was like, hey, you're in town. You're going to call Todd and go have dinner tonight? He's like, oh no, I'm going home tonight, man. I got to get done. I got to go home. I got to get in my own bed.
I was hoping to have a chimichanga with him. I thought that would be a pretty great photo, but didn't happen.
A good photo. But he was very nice, very cordial, very polite, very commandeering. I thought he was all around a really class act guy.
He kept eyeballing me. I think he remembered me from our last encounter.
I remember you from our last encounter.
I remember that motherfucker. That motherfucker pissed me off. I remember that. I remember him because I kept I feel like somebody staring at me because I was talking to Ish and Ish's wife and Chad. And we were all sitting there, and I was like, I would feel like somebody's penetrating my brain. I'd look and I'm just like, it's fucking Rob Liefeld looking at me. I should have went
Hartman
gave him the wink and the gun or something, the long wink. I don't know.
The aubergine wink.
I should have just been like, hey, sexy. I think you remember me, though.
Bro. Should have gave him the heart. Heart you.
Should have gave him the wink of the gun and said, hey, you remember me? I'm your friend Kyle.
Got the high five.
Down low. You're too slow. I should have done it all. But I swear he was giving me that. I know you from somewhere look.
Yeah, I was pretty cool, man. Great store over there. I can hardly wait to go in there and dig. I'm gonna, one of these days, just get in there and spend some hours in there digging. There's a lot of good stuff in there, that's for sure.
Playing 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. There's a lot of digging in there. It's good digging.
There's a guy who comes in regularly, and he goes literally from A to Z, and it's like he'll do it in an hour. It's nuts.
I just can't believe there's a stack of something is killing the children in your shop.
Did you see those Spider-Mans? Those Spider-Mans that I showed in that video? Those were the 1 in 1,000 still in the poly bags with the cassettes. That shit's crazy. I told Ish, I was like, and Bill, I was like, I'm surprised these are still sitting here.
They've been there for 2 years now.
Wow. So
Will,
I love
who's on the show with us sometimes, always talks about buying it. I'm like, Will, one day someone's going to come in and buy it, and you're going to cry that you didn't pick it up.
Yeah,
they're waiting for Brian.
I've already got 2 of each, man. Those are books. So there's one of the days we need to talk about the books that we buy, no matter what, when we see them. And for me, it's those 1 in 1,000 Spider-Mans I used to buy all the time. First edition of Liberty Meadows, Frank Cho, anything Battle. You know what I mean? There's certain books that you have.
Actually, I think we have a copy of that.
I do Batman 423.
Batman 423, the McFarlane.
Every time I see it, I buy it.
Batman Beyond back in the day. I know that's a big book now, but Batman Beyond back in the day was one. Savage Dragon 31, the Don't Fuck with God centerfold. I'll open every Savage Dragon. Witchblade 161, the John Tyler Christopher. I love books like that people that are just in your mind, and you're like, I'm gonna buy them every time I see them, no matter what. Cool shit. Yeah. He said a couple things he said that was interesting is I heard him say that he's looking forward to some work he's got coming up with Marvel. He's really excited with that, and the 30th anniversary of Image is coming up here shortly. So that's cool as hell, man. I couldn't imagine how those guys like feel when you bring up that side of everything, because the history behind that and what it's done for comics is game changing. I mean, I know people have their thoughts and opinions on a lot of those guys, and you can have your opinion, whatever, but what they did with Image and that whole thing, and to get to the 30 years later and everybody still respect it the way that they do. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
There's a lot of docs on that, like small ones like that fans make. And there's also like some independent companies that made those, but there's not a definitive one. Like no one's taken, you could take this at like a Lords of Dogtown level style of like Oscar worthy subject matter here and get some really good documentarians on this. And it would be fantastic because there's so much footage of those guys during then, so many press releases, so many of those people who are ancillary to that and are never brought up as part of that changing of guard would make for a hell of a really good doc.
Yeah, for sure. I wish that it'd be something that be like you said, like a 7-part series or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't see why they don't do like a movie on it at this point, to be honest, like they do on NWA. Yeah, but they're little stuff like
it's not huge.
YouTube videos or science fiction channel, or you know what I mean? Like
if they do a movie about the history of Image, I'd like to play Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, good luck.
I want to play a reporter from Wizard magazine. So that's
Gareb
a small part.
Yeah, there you go.
I remember some of the reporters' names in Wizard more than I do the creators, man.
That's crazy, even though
fucking A, Wizard magazines. Old school.
First issue, Todd McFarlane and the opening of Image. Wizard #1.
Yeah.
Cool Spidey stuff. In the wizard hat, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So speaking of Liefeld, do you guys want to go over? We figured we'd do something different. 67 Live listeners right now. Figured we instead of like kind of everybody going over their top 5, they'll talk about everybody will talk about some of their favorite covers, and we'll just go over a lot of Rob Liefeld covers and come up with the top 5 for the show. Kind of we'll vote on it. See what the chat. So if you guys have any suggestions, let us know. But anybody who has their picks already, you guys want to start it off? I'm gonna head down and take a quick couple minutes. So you got it, Kyle?
Yeah,
I'll leave my screens up to share if you need to.
So this is my favorite issue cover of Rob Liefeld cover. And the reason it is because I had him write to Kyle, your friend, Rob Liefeld. And you know what he told me? We're not friends. So this is a San Diego Comic-Con. So I stand in line.
I guess him whispering it. By the way, we are not friends.
This doesn't mean that.
He did not whisper it at all. And to I think Free Energy, I think if this is what you were talking about what happened last time you seen him, this is what happened. So I was standing in line. I found out that if you've been to San Diego Comic-Con, sometimes there's like these pop-up signings. And Rob Liefeld was one of these pop-up signings. And so I was in line. I was like second or third in line. And I was like, I got that out. And I was like, can you write to, and for some reason, for a while, I was into everybody writing to Kyle, your friend. That's just what I was into. Like I got, like Phil Noto did it for me. I've got all kinds of different writers and artists who just, most people actually, Rob Liefeld's the only person that actually fucking cared. But so I got there and he was like, can you sign this? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I was like, can you write to Kyle, your friend? I wanted him to write Robbie L. He went and write Robbie L.
Yeah,
so he did Rob
He's got a
Liefeld.
signature for sure.
So he was like, well, we're not friends. And I was like, yeah, we are. We're friends. I read your stuff. You're an artist. I like your stuff. That makes us friends. He's like, we're not friends. I'm not going to write that. And I was like, dude, I'm giving you money. Just write what the fuck I want on it.
He wants you to give him more money.
He actually, it was kind of cool though. Like he was charging like 50
Hey, if we're
bucks.
friends, can I borrow a 60? Can I borrow 60 from you, friend?
you got to spare $6,000.
When I met
Friend?
Gary Delabate from the Howard Stern show, I asked him for $20. He wouldn't give it to me. But so I was like, and he actually knocked off $10 off the price because he wrote to Kyle. But that's my favorite cover.
He did write your friend on there, didn't he? Though he actually so he ended up writing it.
I told him I'm a paying customer. I'm paying for this autograph. I'm paying for what I want. This is what I want.
And then he's like, "Oh, I cannot poke holes in that lawyered. I cannot poke holes in your logic."
I'm a paying fucking customer. It's a solid. And it's not the first time I've used that defense against somebody either. I tell the same thing to Bruce Campbell. I'm a paying fucking customer. Just fucking put what I want on it. So he did it.
Yes, Miss the Hun has it correct.
And then we got to think, though. We sat and argued about this for probably 5 minutes. And then he took a picture with me, and he had to smile.
Yeah, he looks very happy.
He looks very thrilled. Let's see.
Anyways, good cover.
Yeah.
That is a good cover.
Good cover. Better story.
I figured a good story behind it. But you know what? So I'll go through my top 5 just because I actually made a top 5. This was actually my number 1. And I really like that he wrote Liefeld after me. It's pretty awesome. He homaged himself. I love this cover. Cool Transformers.
I didn't know
Young
he did
Bloods.
a Transformers cover. That's cool.
2013.
It's like set up like a couple of my picks. It's like set up like that old the New Mutants 87.
Exactly. Yep. That's why he's like after me. I liked this Young Bloods because it's the homage to the Walking Dead number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. I like this. This was a good Guardians of the Galaxy cover.
That's a newer one. That's one he's selling. He was selling that today, wasn't he?
Yeah. I enjoyed this cover as well. The Snake Eyes Dead Game. And then
I think it's a good Snake Eyes cover. Yeah,
it is awesome. Some Snake Eyes.
Yeah,
that's a great 300 homage.
And then Walking Dead 1, the Amazing Arizona cover. I always thought I really liked the zombies that he drew in the background. Not so much Rick and Coral, but because I don't know what this is. This is the weirdest looking gun I've ever seen, but the zombies that he did in the back were actually pretty cool. So
those are some sick zombies.
Those are some good ones.
Yeah, so I figured he did a pretty cool job there.
Not bad. Let's go over before we let's take a second here before we go to the next person who has some. Let's rock through some of his early work here. He did a lot of stuff.
There, checkmate number 3.
He did a lot of stuff early on with Marvel Comics Presents. I really like this cover right here.
The 46 and this number 72. Not 70 also. Not 72. Wait, go up. Scroll up a bit. One more. That X Factor one. That's a very, for Liefeld, that's like, I feel like a real, like, very simple cover for him.
Yep.
You can really see
very clear
difference.
lines.
like it changes from here, like in the next row. Oh,
to here.
There.
Yeah.
I mean, it's two totally different art styles. Like
I liked his
completely
Captain America. I'll be honest. I know he gets a lot of shit for Captain America. I know he gets a lot of shit for that image, and you know what I feel about. I buy those wizards every time I find them, just because I think that's a great thing to collect. But when he did, when they ended up, not working out for Heroes Reborn, and he went over and did his what was it that he did for Awesome when he
Agent
Agent
USA, not
USA Agent,
but
US
I can't
Agent.
remember what it was.
US
Chat US Agent? No.
Yep.
no, you're thinking of like that. Yeah, but it's something like it's a knockoff. Yeah, but
Yeah. It's basically Cap.
Youngblood.
No, and Bucky's the
Youngblood
chick.
Strike Force.
No, Fighting American. Thank you, Eric.
Yes, thank you.
Fighting American. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved the Fighting American stuff, man, because it was just all the Captain America stuff that he couldn't do. And it was really good. And I liked the way he drew Captain America when he, took some time with him. Anyways, this cover right here, I always thought was great.
Yeah, that's in
Wolverine.
my picks. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. He did early X-Men cover here.
His Wolverines are usually pretty great. His early 90s Wolverines.
I didn't know he did this Guardians of the Galaxy. That's crazy with this Wolverine's relative character. That's dope.
I'll say one thing though. His later art is a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. Travis, do you have stuff you want to share?
Yeah. Let me pull mine up. Let me share my screen here.
As you're doing that, I'm going to address something. Gonzo, no Marco. Marco's on a break. It's summertime where he lives, and he's enjoying time. He's enjoying summer with his family, so he's taking some Saturday nights off. But to everybody out there that misses Marco, you'll be seeing Marco say he'll be joining us again soon. So just hang tight and bear with us until Marco comes back.
Wait until they end boating season.
And if you're missing them a ton, you can always catch them on Sunday nights. They're doing really good on Dark Side with Solo Wookie Below, JJ, Jedi Johnson, and a lot of they're doing a lot of cool stuff over there. So make sure you guys check out that show too.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, so again, Liefeld's been eating this lunch for many years, as we just saw with the Transformers cover that Kyle showed, that New Mutants 87 variants. Here we see Cable, issue 6, the monkey variant that he did. I think it's kind of cool, kind of a fun way on this one. I really love that flat background. I like the design of Cable as the monkey here, and the New Mutants kind of switched up there. I think it's kind of punk rock. As we just saw that What If number 7, this is a great one. I love that. He kind of looks like a Dragon Ball character, a Saiyan in this one, doesn't he?
Yeah,
a little bit. Yes.
Yeah. Little Saiyan action. So I found this one. I never read this issue, but in kind of going through Liefeld stuff, I found this Phantom incentive area. They have a Virgin one too, but I actually really like the font style of the Phantom in the back here. And it's kind of cool seeing him take on a pulp character like this, and I really like this the hatching and stuff on the skull in the background here. So I always love the pulpy stuff, and this is kind of as pulpy as Liefeld's gonna get. This one I put just because that's when I was a kid growing up. I mean, this art style, that's what was on the Spinner X. And as a kid, that was the coolest thing in the world. And I think that sometimes he gets a lot of flack for, proportions and stuff like that. But when it's done well, it's effective. Like, this is like, if you're an 8-year-old boy, you're like, that's badass. I want to pick that
muscles
up.
on muscles and pouches.
Yeah, you nail it. Yeah, absolutely.
Like 8 years old, that's like my market. That's all I want.
Yeah, when you're 8 years old, you're like, oh my God, look at that guy. He's just grotesquely giant, stronger than anybody, and pouches galore full of bombs and arrows and
all these
bombs,
weapons.
And he's got guns and swords and bows and arrows and knives. And I love this guy.
His muscles have muscles.
He can't be sneaky if he's that big. He's got to go and diet.
Yeah, he looks like Rambo on steroids.
I love this New Mutants 93 too. We talk about one of the things that he was able to do well so well is those poses, just the poses he puts people in. And this is one of my favorite like Wolverine poses is that, Wolverine just like mounting something and just going to town on it. Berserker rage, whether it's a Sentinel, in this case, it's Cable. Really great on there. And I just had 4.
Mounting something.
That's dope.
Wolverine, I'm gonna mount you.
Here's we'll go through some more here. I always thought that this Mission Impossible cover was kind of crazy. Yeah. Here we get into some of this clown Blood Wolf cover. It's kind of dope. You get into a lot of his early Image stuff.
I love his early Image.
Look at this. That's crazy.
Yeah, I got that chapel sitting right over there.
Yeah, this is such a great cover right here. This chapel cover. There you go. There's your cover.
War Child's head.
A Sisters of Mercy cover. I've never seen this one.
Yeah, I got a Riptide number 2. One of my all-time, probably my number 1 all-time favorite Liefeld. He even made the comment, "Boy, I really drew her big, didn't I?"
This is a great one right here, dude. This cover right here. I don't even know. I've never even seen this cover. This is gorgeous. That's a really good cover right there. Awesome entertainment.
I mean, he does have some decent covers out there. I'm not, don't get me wrong.
See, here's Fighting American right here. I own this book right here. I bought the shit out of the Fighting American stuff. That's pretty good right there.
That is good.
I think that's it. Is that it? That's it. So, all right, who's next? Anybody got anything else?
It's a lot of pouches.
Let me grab my 5. You can just make my screen big. So I have kind of odd ones, but one of my all-time favorites, super classic, Darker Image.
Oh, it's got to have Max on there? Yeah.
Yep. And he collaborated with some guys, so maybe some people are like, that's not all him, but that's that book, man. I love that book. I thought about getting it signed today, but I just didn't have the money. Wildcats number 1, wraparound, foil, embossed. I mean that's right up my Turok number 1. You can all start making fun of me now. I like embossed foiled covers. They shine, they sparkle. The color in here just pops. I love it. Wraparound color, solid. I should have that in one of my new Clear Comic current backer boards. Big shout out to them. Thank you. I got my shipment. You guys rock. I love you. Brigade number 2, another aluminum, another foil. Ooh, so shiny. Nice and just
I like that.
So clean.
It's fun.
Yeah. And it's got a little embossing on it too. Not a lot, but just enough to give it that. Oh, that's
you know what all your covers are missing?
Signatures.
That says your friend.
Your friend. And nice call there. This is another one I really like, even though a lot of people don't. This is, early Image, Bloodstrike number 1. But this always kind of cracked me up because it's almost like a bad family portrait. You know how like your whole family goes for a portrait, and you got that one portrait that your mom and dad have on the wall, and you're just like, that portrait's terrible. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like anything is necessarily wrong with it.
Yeah, it is. If you bleach your tips the day before your family portrait.
Exactly. There's always that one.
I remember one time I went in for family. It was a family portrait. And it was everybody. It was my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, my You know, it was me and my wife, my kids, everybody. And we're sitting there in Sears, and like you're sitting in the waiting room. So it's like the Sears portrait, the Sears eyeglass, you know what I mean? Like all of that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my grandfather turns to my sister and says, something snide. And all of a sudden, within like 2 minutes, my entire family is yelling and screaming at each other in the middle of Sears. And then after like 5 or 6 minutes of yelling and screaming, everybody's mad. I'm leaving. I'm not doing any fucking picture. It's our turn. We had to walk in. Then everybody goes,
Right?
picture of us.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, you know, and that's what that cover always reminded me of is like the bad family portrait that the picture is good, but the memory with it or whatever the juxtaposition of it is, you're just like, I hate that fucking picture. Anyway, you all voted, you all said, so I did it. He signed the titties. You said I had to get them signed, and this is my all-time favorite. I loved it when he was like,
"Did you have to ask him to sign on the titties?" Yeah, or did he?
Yeah,
right
did you tell him? You said, "Hey, look, you're a rock star, and rock stars sign the cleavage. That's what's got to happen."
He asked. He's like, "Well, where do you want me to sign it?" And I mean, he was going right there all day long, and he kind of looked at me, and he was like, "Well, where did you want me to sign it?" And I said, "Well, we took a poll on the podcast, and the chat said I had to have the titty signed." And he goes, "Wow, you know,
how much? How much is one issue to get it signed? How much is one issue to get signed?"
So I got it signed, and that was 40 because it wasn't the normal.
Do you think that having Rob Liefeld sign
20 for the certificate
is having Rob Liefeld sign that and paying $40 and saying the word titties after it is the only place other than the strip club where that interaction is going to happen? 40 bucks, titties.
Oh, and I mean, it did. The whole experience kind of felt like a strip club where I went and I paid a whole lot of money, and I got to look at just amazing, wonderful things, and I took very little home.
You went home with blue balls.
That's so sad, man.
But you guys voted. I wanted to let you all know I did it. I got him.
Hey, here, man. Great job.
I did bring in the lime green because I didn't want it in red or black to cover up the book or the actual photo, like what his incredible artwork that I love so much. And kept my fucking.
I like how you said titties and not like try to church it up. Like, how about the decolletage? Just kind of around here.
No, them's titties. There's no. I can call them breasts. I can call them whatever you want. But in the end, them's titties. He drew those big. When the artist says, "Well, I kind of made her big," that's titties.
That's hilarious.
And now,
is that it?
That's it.
All right, let's go through a couple more here. We'll go through these kind of quickly. Let's see here. These are some of these are interesting that I haven't seen before. These are some of his awesome Entertainment Youngblood stuff. Like, I like that cover. That cover's not bad. That's kind of a cool cover. I want to get into some of
cookies.
Oh, look at that. Jesus. Is that him just messing with people? That's got to be him just fucking with people, right?
Dude,
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
That cover,
look at that
great,
underbite,
especially for that character.
Yeah. Like, he's just he has to, right?
No, it is. It's a total. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Nobody's gonna question me. So this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
How about this? Let's try this new fun thing. Let's rock the poll here. Is he messing with people on this cover, or is that him really drawing? We'll see if that works.
It can't be.
All right. That reminds me of Super Patriot. Is that what that like? All right.
That's what it looks like him.
That's definitely a Deadpool-esque.
It looks just like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought about having him sign that book.
How many times has he homaged himself?
Dude, how creepy. That's what we should do. A top 5 is artists that have homaged themselves.
Well,
How
that
many-
one you were asking if he's fucking with, that looks like the Captain America one,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah. That's my question.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like 17 votes. Yes, he's just messing with people.
That was quick.
Yeah. There's I remember this book was big for a while, right? First Prophet. A lot of people love
like
that
that.
cover from back in the day. I remember this cover back in the day for sure.
There was a couple of those that got signed today.
Here's some of his better. I liked when he did Cable like skinny like this, right? No, not like this. I mean, that's a great cover. This one with the blue background, with the purple background.
Skinny Cable.
Watch, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Like that's just craziness right there.
It's
this right here. Yeah, like this right here. Like this Cable was badass, man. That's when I really loved reading Cable too. This is one of my all-time favorite Liefeld covers right here. This Wolverine Deadpool cover. Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that's one of my all-time favorites.
He signed that one for Bill Ponsetti.
Nice.
That one in particular.
Nice. This one's interesting. Look at that one. Jesus.
Where do you get them to sign in on that one?
Yeah. Let's take a poll. No.
We went straight there.
Let's take a poll. That's got to be Cable, right? Look at that. That's a creepy cover. I mean, so he's got a lot of really good covers. That's I'll say that. I mean, some of his covers are him just
bad ones.
He does have a lot of bad ones, yeah, and I think it's just him messing with people at that point. Like the early New Mutant stuff wasn't terrible. I like this cover.
Yeah,
I like how he draws Blob. Yeah, I like how huge Blob is, and
it's like he's got Cable in the papoose.
But that almost looks like that is McFarlane, right?
Mhm.
Isn't it? Yeah, Liefeld and
both of them.
McFarlane. Yeah. I was about to say, it almost looks like McFarlane drawing right there. People sleep on this issue right here. That's crazy. I've never seen this. So a lot of people don't realize this, but he got his start professionally in DC with Hawk and Dove, and I love this Hawk and Dove run. I have this whole run.
Some people argue that Hawk and Dove stuff might be his best work.
Yeah.
Even though he was still cutting his teeth.
Yeah, here is the well, there's some stories around the Hawk and Dove stuff, that's for sure. I've heard some cool behind the scenes stories, you know. But
I heard like the editors were just nixing a lot of the art. They're like, no.
Yeah, it was so bad that he just nixed it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because he was just starting. This is my favorite though. This is the Fighting American. I have this whole run. This made me fall in love with Ed McGuinness, because Ed McGuinness did a ton of really cool covers, cartoony covers on this run. But even Liefeld's covers on this run were great. And it was all his Captain America stories that he didn't get to tell. Like, that's a great cover right there. That Dogs of War cover. That cover is super dope. I love that cover.
Now they're saying that, you know, that it's not just women, young women who develop body issues at a young age. I think for us, Liefeld might be to blame for anyone who's like, why don't I have 38-pack abs? Like, how do I get that?
That's the reason I'm fat, is because I could never get 38-pack abs. And
You got to 16, and then after that, you're like, if I can't do 38, I'm done.
I'm done. I'm just gonna eat cheeseburgers.
Yeah, this is what I mean by skinny Cable right here. This run was awesome. Cable 73, 72, 74. Like, that stuff was great. Wow, that's a pretty cool Spider-Man cover.
This is what Jesse had to say. I have broken 2 Guinness Books of World Records with him. Trust me, he's effing with people.
Yeah. So
now we got
crazy
confirmation.
Stuff. Yeah, crazy stuff, man. So it was really cool to see, that was for sure. So yeah, Boris the Bear #6 is his very first professional work. He confirmed that today, that pinup. So
And if you're not busy, Jesse, come on and tell us some Liefeld stories.
Yeah. It was fun. It was very cool.
Wow, Liefeld got a lot of time today. Liefeld got a lot of time. Good on you, bud.
Yeah.
He did. He really did.
Editors pushed Liefeld when he was with Marvel. Enough praise should be given to the editors. When he went on his own, it was all downhill. I don't know. When he went on his own, he kind of made history there. He kind of made history when he went on his own, right? I mean, can't blame him for that. As a matter of fact, I'm a little jealous. That guy doesn't have to do shit for the rest of his life except for draw some cool covers and travel from a comic store to comic store every couple of months.
He made
a pretty damn cool life.
Today. He walked out of there with a couple grand cash today.
Yeah, hanging out with his buddies, talking shit about comics.
I mean, sounds like the life. Hey, but you know what? In all actuality, except for the walking out with a whole bunch of cash, I did the same thing today.
Yeah.
I hung out with a bunch of buddies and talked comics. So I'm not far behind you, fucking RL.
Robbie L. Yeah, Keith is like, I'm gonna tell him that you guys make fun of him. When the show's not going. And he's like, I'm gonna tell Rob you make fun of him when the show's not going. I'm like, Mr. Liefeld to you, buddy. So,
I did not make fun of him. All I had was good words. I had a very, very pleasurable experience with Rob Liefeld, despite all the negativity said.
Did anybody see the new He-Man stuff yet?
I did.
The Netflix.
Mm-hmm. You watched it? Mm-hmm. Did you watch it, Sam?
I haven't seen it yet.
So I started watching the first episode, and wasn't as thrilled about the animation style as it was, but it was 5 issues, 2.5 hours total, and by the time you get into it, they do some fun stuff. It's not one that I recommend, but I had a good time watching it. They do a really good job of bringing the characters out, and they do a smart thing because it's animation. There's no limit to where they can go in this world that we haven't seen for a long time, and take us to new places. So they really do a good job of road tripping it up in Eternia, which is what you want to see. I mean, the budget is what you can draw and what you can animate, and they really take advantage of the medium as far as how they shoot the action, or how they have the action in it, and how they where they go in Eternia. They really take you to several different places. Each episode has like 2 or 3 different animated set pieces in there that are really fun. He-Man isn't in it as much as you might think. It really is a Tila story. But yeah.
Hey, let me ask you something about that, Travis. So they're rebooting. They have rebooted a lot of old 80s cartoon properties.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was Thundercats. They did kind of a similar take on Thundercats in the 2010s. And then they had the most recent Thundercats rework that was just trash. Is it a treatment like that where they're very much fans of the property, or is it a cash grab? Like how would you compare it to other adaptations?
I don't think it's a cash grab. I think it's just putting dumping the toy box out and finding ways to. I think it happens pretty quickly. Would be my only thing is like we have 5 episodes. Let's dump all the toys and show you all the toys at once. And then the story starts to kick in. So that first episode is just like, here are all the images you remember. There's a turn at the end of the first episode, and then we really start to go into our through line story that involves all these characters. So I think it walks a decent line of being like, here are people. There are some moments in it. If you watch all 5 episodes, by the time you get to episode 4 or 5, there are actually some really heartfelt moments where you're like, oh, okay. I will say this: they're not afraid to get Game of Thronesy style story. They're not precious with their characters. I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say they're not precious with their characters, and that leads to some really kind of heartfelt moments in the latter half of this first part.
When are we supposed to get the second part? Do we know?
I'm not sure. Like I'm not salivating for it, but based on the first 5, if it came out, I'd probably continue watching.
I missed it. What platform is this on again?
Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I got so many people sending me texts telling me how ridiculous it was. To be honest.
Yeah.
The fact that I get the whole thing about like turning something on its edge and creating new stories and this and that. But when you take something that is super nostalgic, like the Masters of the Universe property is, and you just totally upend it and throw it on its head and change things, and maybe he didn't feel this way, but it just at some point it feels like they're just pandering. And it felt so. It was actually. If it wasn't pandered so bad and it didn't make me have a bad taste in my mouth, I would be like, this is badass, because Skeletor, like all the
Did you get through all 5?
I didn't get through all 5. The animation is really good. I really like the animation. I just, the way that they, like you said, they upend some stuff that kind of made me just be like, oh man, like, I don't even know if I want to continue watching it. You know what I mean? Like, I swear to God, that's what. But it was, everything else was so good. Like, it felt really good. The animation, the
creative talent involved, I think, is really strong.
I have a question, and this kind of goes for all of us. And this kind of happened to me with the last, trilogy of Star Wars. Is it that it's bad because we have a pre-expectation because we're expecting what we grew up on? Because if you were watching, someone even in the comments said, it kind of turned me off because I had that pre-expectation of my childhood.
Exactly.
But my son couldn't stop watching it. He loved it.
And he doesn't
have that preconceived. Same thing with like the last 3 Star Wars. A lot of us, Star Wars people saw it and was like, wow, that was just not what I was expecting or hoping, and felt really let down. But a lot of kids really enjoyed it and really saw for their first time how enjoyable it was. So, I mean, us as critiquing as the nerds that we are and the geeks that we are, and how much we grew up with it and how much we want to relive and chase that dragon of the first, He-Man as a child. Is that where we fail, or did they actually fail?
What the fuck are you talking about, Solo Wookie? I lost a long time ago. Like, they failed by turning it up on its end and killing fucking Prince Adam, like, right a fucking way, and then turning Tila into the or what's her name into She-Man. Yeah, Man at Arms. And the next thing you know, it's about her and her obvious relationship with this other chick, and it was
so they changed it so much that it was harsh. It was too harsh.
And here's the biggest thing that pisses me off about it. Listen, I love Kevin Smith. We all love Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, Chasing Amy changed my fucking life. I'm not even saying Mallrats, because Mallrats was great, but Chasing Amy was the shit until the last 15 minutes of that movie. Chasing Amy was a different fucking ball game.
You can always tell that fucking Amy story.
Yeah, but he fucked this one up, man. He really fucked this one up because he acted like he gave a shit about it, and then obviously you don't give a shit about it, because if you gave a shit about it, you wouldn't have this shit wouldn't have happened the way it happened. If you actually cared about it, and then it just feels really cheesy to me.
So it was bad rating. It wasn't.
No, it was good
because we were expecting so much from our previous child.
The animation was good. The acting was good.
The score was fantastic.
The score was fucking fantastic. The gut punch of the nostalgia in your childhood being fucked with is a big fucking deal. It's
okay, Brian. Let me ask you something. You said that it was pandering. What do you mean when you say it's pandering?
It was pandering to this fucking woke culture bullshit. Like, that's what it feels like. I'll be honest. And I don't like talking politics and this and that, but It feels like everything's got to be changed, and they've got to throw in, some type of this woke mentality of something that we don't need. It doesn't need to be forced. That's what I mean. It feels forced. I'm cool with it when it's not forced. I'm totally cool with it, but this felt forced, and I don't like that. I'm not.
Like when you say it's woke, it's what happens in it that makes it seem so.
Did you not hear what I just said?
So they kill He-Man off in the first episode, and then Teela becomes the main protagonist, and she goes out, and as soon as she gets free of the castle, she shaves the side of her head, and
she becomes Man-at-Arms.
Yeah, and she becomes like a Man-at-Arms, but she has distanced herself from her father because she feels like all the men in her life have lied to her. And so she is done with magic. She's done with Eternia. And so now she's kind of like this mercenary. And yeah, that happens in the right after the first episode. And then it becomes the Teela show for all the way to the end, really.
And you know what? He could throw this all on edge and be like, I was doing this on purpose. And the next 5 episodes are all about fucking, everything we love, or I don't know.
Now, if you watch the last of this first 5, it's just going to piss you off. Can I just tell you guys? Can I spoil it? Can I spoil it?
Spoil it.
Yeah, they end up going to like heaven and hell, and they get Prince Adam back, and Prince Adam makes the sacrifice to give up heaven and come back as He-Man. He comes back and is immediately killed again.
No way. He's like
this time
like
for good.
Goku.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it is. Like all the old He-Man are allowed to be in heaven as their reward. Everyone else just kind of dies. And so when he chooses to go back to Earth, they're like, if you die this time, you're really dead. And 2 seconds after it gets back to Earth, it's like Skeletor's sword in the back, and dead again. So the whole
the Dragon Balls. Let's get him back.
Well, all right. So Tom says, think back to the Filmation series. She is the only one who didn't know he didn't die. What? Tom, he was stabbed. Whatever. Like, whatever it is, it felt
Brian is so
felt
upset.
forced. It really felt forced. And here's the funny thing. You guys want to hear the worst part about this? Like, I was all about He-Man. I remember getting like many of my He-Man toys when I was a kid. I remember watching the show. I remember it all. But the second they put that G.I. Joe in my hand, He-Man, it was game over. So, like, I don't care that much. And it still pissed me off that much. I couldn't imagine, like, people like Big Leg and Simple Man, like, what they truly feel about that shit.
I want to hear Big Leg.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because I totally want to hear what Big Leg has.
Yeah. And it is what it is.
Because you're a little hot under the collar over it. You're like, man, they destroyed this shit.
I know.
I'm just like, wow.
I was just about to say, I'm not under the collar, but it did fucking kind of fucking harsh my high. So I'm gonna have to go fucking take another smoke break real quick. I'll be right back.
See, now I really want to see it. Now I'm just like,
totally watching it tomorrow.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
I'm doing tomorrow.
So Travis, did you like it?
I don't say I like. Again, I wouldn't recommend to anyone, but there are a few moments, like the really great Orko moment, where I was like, "Oh, this is kind of like getting to me." I feel like He-Man has always been that. As a kid, it was in a sense a little bit like G.I. Joe, where you'd have that very on the nose message, right? That moral lesson.
They were required to do that.
Yeah,
right?
to do that. And so there's still that in there, except it's not like we're not saying it out loud. Like, that's why, kids, you never, whatever. But it's still very much like a moral story where you have these moments where there's a lot of sacrificing in this story for different reasons. So there's you lose characters that some of their deaths feel earned. You're like, oh, this seems, we only have to spend a little bit of time with this character, but it's kind of sad to see them go. So they hit some beats now that they're probably very calculated in how they do that as far as their storytelling. It's like, we're going to introduce this, we're going to plug in these emotional beats here and take it away from you here and let you deal with that. It's kind of paint by numbers storytelling, but it's with the aesthetic of He-Man, which is like, you get to see He-Man characters and there's some cool action sequences. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not as hot as a collar.
Wait, so what's
enjoy
preventing you from recommending it? It sounds like you liked it.
I guess preventing me from recommending it is I'm afraid that if I do, someone's going to come at me like Brian. I think He-Man has a special place in a lot of people's hearts that I would recommend it to, and I don't know what their original connection was to He-Man and how good they are at separating like nostalgia from like, okay, are you okay to watch this? Because I think it could be very easy to get angry at if you're expecting something. I don't know what people want out of it. I don't know what people want. Do they want to feel like they're 6 years old again? Do they want some epic, great story, like amazing story told?
Well, apparently, don't watch it when you're high because it'll harsh your buzz. So,
all right, so
I think the score is so loud and like ongoing. I think watching it high would be like, ba 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 ba. You're like, He-Man.
So there were a lot of limitations in the original series, right? They couldn't show too much violence. The women were not allowed to fight
or talk,
or there were just a lot of like cultural limitations at the time. Is this their attempt to kind of give you the battle or the the fan service that they could never give in the original series?
I think that Brian is absolutely correct. I think in the sense, the thing I agree with is that it is that he used the term pandering. That is very apparent that they are making conscious choices to be on a certain side of politics in this retelling of He-Man. What was your question again specifically?
I mean, is this could you view this as
here? Oh God,
Travis, you're owning the show now, right? You own He-Man, okay? You are 100% responsible.
Look at my armpits, man. Look at that. It's just sweat.
Dude, relax. Like, no one's coming after you.
That's because PC culture and He-Man here. God.
So I'm saying, is there some amount of wish fulfillment that the battles or the story?
Yes, they are. They are trying to fulfill the things that they couldn't do based on the limitations. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Well,
gorier battles, bigger battles, more violence, but not too over the top where it's like manga, like red blood sprays coming out of, well, maybe a little of that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man.
I'm intrigued, even though I think I'm going to be left a little disappointed. I was not a giant He-Man person growing up, but I did enjoy it, and I am intrigued. I will definitely watch it. I planned on it before, but now I have a little extra something. I really want to watch it now.
Dude, I loved He-Man. I thought Skeletor was just an awesome villain. He-Man was such a great design. Oh my gosh.
The character designs are awesome in He-Man. You can't,
all the different ones. That. Yeah, man. I remember when they came out with that character, I forget his name, but it was like a character you put together, like had different legs and two heads, and I forget what it was called, but it came like 10 different Modoc or something like that. Chat will let us know.
Yeah, Rena, if you're watching, Pete, let us know because you just did a show on it.
Yeah.
U.S. agent.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Speaking of U.S. agent, this has nothing to do with U.S. agent. I'm terrible.
Segues.
But I real quick, I want to say something. Listen, 70 live viewers right now. Thanks for hanging out with us. For all of you guys that are watching live right now, I want to say thank you. Much love to the community that we've helped build in this comics YouTube content creation space. Thanks to everybody on the channel. Thanks to everybody on the show. We've had a really great year over the last 365 days. We have had 3,700 of our 5,000 subscribers that we just hit. So that's pretty cool, and I want to say thank you to everybody that's involved with this channel. So congrats to you. Thank you so much. And listen, make sure you guys, if you guys aren't subscribed, do us a favor, and if you're enjoying what you're watching, hit that subscription icon and hit the bell so you guys get notified. There's a lot of great content that comes from this channel. Every day something new.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. And more importantly than anything is going forward at this channel, we're going to try our best to be the place for collectors just to hang out, whether that's comic collecting, whether that's action figure collecting, whether it's, talking about collecting video games and, VHS tapes and whatever it is, all this stuff that takes us back to our childhood or, makes us happy, whatever hobby this is, reading, collecting. We want to make this channel be the place for that. So thank you for hanging out with us. We have big plans for the future, and we had this as a goal for the channel for the end of the year, to be at 5K by the end of the year, and we blew it out of the water. So we're gonna try our best to try and hit 10K by the end of the year. So thank you for hanging with us. If you really enjoy the show,
tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Let other people know. Tell them to jump on their phone, go to YouTube and hit subscribe and check us out. They guarantee there's somebody on the channel for something for somebody on this channel. So much love to everybody out there. And secondly, to everybody in this community, people like Travis, people like Sam, that have channels and shows on other channels. Make sure you guys go check them out, go give them subs, because if you see people on this channel, you guys, they're solid people, and they have guaranteed they have good content. We talked about Peter Renner earlier. Make sure you guys go sub to Peter Renner. Go check out Comic Man Andy. There's a lot of people to go give some love to in this content creation sphere. So
just
thank
don't
you
subscribe to the Absolute Geek guys.
Who are they?
Unless you want to see me fill up a chat and try and start a 4-year-old argument with Ish's wife.
By the way, shout out to Jesse James for the Moduluck.
Yes.
Moduluck is the name of that character.
Thank you, Jesse.
Oh.
So speaking of things and difference and getting everybody, I think we have a little bit of Star Trek talk.
Oh, break.
For nerds.
Yeah. Fucking nerds.
Man, you can whistle loud.
So I think Ish, take it over. You got some cool Star Trek news.
That was a good Star Trek quote.
Yeah, that was from the Star Trek 2009. You can whistle real loud.
All right. Again,
because I know
trailers
Jesse,
dropped. We got
Jesse James loves Star Trek, so I know he's excited right now to listen to Star Trek talk. So shout out to Jesse, just because he's the cool as fuck. So go ahead, Dish.
We had 2 trailers drop. One we got here on screen, Star Trek Prodigy. I guess produced by Nickelodeon. And it actually looked pretty cool. I don't really know anything about it. I know that Captain Janeway is in it, voiced by Kate Mulgrew. I don't know if she's kind of like a narrator or what her role is in the series, but it seems to revolve around this one kind of a kid who's, I don't know, he's by himself out on some planet out in space, and he comes across this Starfleet ship, and we go from there.
I think this is a badass looking ship.
I do too. I like it.
Yeah, the trailer. I had no expectations really. We watched the trailer and I was like, wow, this does look pretty cool. The animation's a very CGI style, as opposed to the other animated series, Lower Decks. It's a very different animation styles between
I
the two
have
shows.
that one as well. Let me bring it
Well,
up.
obviously, Nickelodeon. This is geared towards kids. So,
Brian, if you can
we'll
edit
see.
out any of
But the
my
trailer looks
positive
good.
comments so that I don't get kicked off tomorrow's show, that'd be really helpful.
Well, you can't like Star
already-
Wars and Star Trek?
I already
Apparently
messaged
not.
Marco.
Hardman Sports Card says Butterfly in the Sky. By the way, LeVar Burton debuts on Jeopardy this Monday as the new host.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Well, it's
On Aaron
temporary.
Rodgers,
Jody
huh?
LaForge himself.
You ever think about that
And then we
song
get,
that
season
reading
2
they're
for
reading
Lower Decks.
rainbows? Okay.
Which song?
Are you gonna sing the song?
The reading
for us,
rainbow song.
Travis?
Yeah. Well, I just always thought that even as a kid,
Take a look.
but-
It's in a book.
It's
a
more-
reading
it's-
rainbow.
it's more the line "Butterfly in the sky, I can
Reading
fly twice as high." It's kind of like a
Yeah.
jab at butterflies. It's like fuck you.
Or a stoner like secretly wrote that.
Yeah, that's true. It's a John Lennon song B-side.
Yeah, we don't need to be crapping on butterflies. They have a hard enough time.
Hey, butterfly in the sky. Fuck you. I can fly twice as high, bitch.
I'm gonna throw this book at you. Boom!
Take a look. It's
Yeah.
in a book.
It's in a book.
It's
So
a
this is all
goddamn reading
coming
Read all the
out.
Jeopardy questions.
This is coming out on Nickelodeon? What'd you say?
No,
this
it's
was
going to be
coming
on
out
Paramount. It's on Paramount Plus. So Paramount Plus is the streaming platform for all things Star Trek, but it looks like it's produced by Nickelodeon.
Oh, okay.
And this is Lower Decks. So they already had one season, and it's essentially it's a comedy version of Star Trek featuring, which is the most inept ship in the fleet and the most inept crew. It's the USS Cerritos. And they're always messing up.
I already like it.
You
know,
gotta-
actually,
you
you
gotta
know
try
what?
a
I watched
scouter.
it. Is it
It's like
what?
Vegeta Scouter on his eye there.
Yeah, another
The show
Dragon Ball
actually,
Z
what I like
reference.
about it, the show requires deep cut knowledge of Star Trek to get a lot of the jokes. You have to have watched a lot of Star Trek, and for me, that was great. I laugh. Any show that makes me laugh and it's a comedy, I'll give it a thumbs up. Especially if it's dressed in
Does
Star
it poke jabs at Star Trek Enterprise?
Trek. Absolutely.
It deserved well-deserved jabs at Star Trek Enterprise.
Watching this, I was like, "This is like the ultimate kid show." And like when you were talking about it, it's deep cuts of this, that. I'm watching the trailer, and I'm like, I thought I had the wrong trailer up because I'm like, this is like the ultimate Star Trek kid show. Like, it's like there's no way. But
Well, I don't know if I'd call it a kids show. Definitely for teens.
the other thing I think would be funnier if it was Lower Decks, it would be the people in Star Trek you don't get to see. So it's the guy that has to vacuum.
Well, that's
or
what this is.
So
The
it's the guy who's
latrine-
Literally,
The latrine duty.
crew.
It's the guy who's got it, and the guy's that bitching about being, man, I'm just ready to go home. They said 5 years, you know what I mean? Like, it's been longer.
It's supposed to be a 5-year mission, bro.
Like, we're totally year
They have
6.
episodes of how just people get the shitty assignments on the show.
Well, are there shitty assignments? Because don't they like have like meal replicators? Like, are you telling me they have a meal replicator, but they can't have a fucking Roomba on that ship to like vacuum and sweep up stuff? Like, what's like the shitty jobs on a Starcraft?
You still got to take
Usually
out the trash.
involves gross alien stuff. So
Okay.
where an alien, like, I don't know, secretes something
I'm not
weird, but you
cleaning
can't
up
see
the
anything
dead
because you'd be
alien.
offended, but someone's still got to clean it up,
Okay, I like that. I take back all my critique.
So, like, when-
I got to get probed
And then-
again?
and then cleaning up the
Johnson,
holodeck.
probe
too.
them. They
What is
roast
that?
them,
I don't know, but I have
them.
to. I don't know what that alien is, but I have to milk it. Apparently,
So yeah, I'm definitely excited for season 2 here.
That ship looks very Thanos-y.
I was gonna go Transformers. It kind of looks like it's got a little face in the middle, and like
It does.
And at any point, it's gonna roll out.
Autobots, roll out.
That's solid.
It looks good. The animation and it looks really good, like fun.
Johnson, the blinking light
like
outside on the deck is done.
Aesthetic.
So is it how kid appropriate is it?
It's
more. It's not called upper deckers. It's called lower deckers, man. It's teen appropriate.
It's probably like 10 and up.
Okay, all right.
I mean, a lot of the jokes probably just go over the heads of younger kids, especially Miles O'Brien jokes.
Oh,
Miles O'Brien.
And those always stink.
I could see that.
Well, we'll be looking forward to some Star Trek cartoons.
That's right.
And
well, how about instead of Star Trek cartoons, there's also some news in the recent, just this week and last week, that I guess for any Star Trek fan should be exciting. And that's, we took several steps into commercial space flight with the launch of the Virgin Galactic, and then the, I got to say it, the dildo-shaped New Shepard spacecraft. And yeah, they just, there was quick trips into space, but it's, for a Star Trek fan, you look at Zephram Cochrane, a private citizen. He built the Phoenix. The Phoenix went into space, ended up making first contact, which started the entire story of Star Trek. And I think of it 200 years from now, they will look back at these moments and say, those were the steps, the necessary steps taken to be able to take even bigger steps into the future and our progress and humanity's progress, which is the essential message of Star Trek. So that was pretty cool. And I always felt that Star Trek was very unique because it always had real life implications. A lot of the tech that we saw in the original series, which as hokey and, and cheesy as it was, we had iPads, flip phones, space shuttles. You know what I mean? That's no other TV show that had that kind of actual real life impact. I've always said Star Trek, the original series, is one of the most important shows ever made. And when we see things like, progress in space flight, that's for a Star Trek fan. That's, that tickles my balls.
Well, I was really wondering why my friend's birthday cake looked like this, but it must have been because of Amazon and space and everything. So, yeah. So shout out.
Hey, the whole time that ship was blasting off, it totally reminds me of that fucking.
I like how the penises are mixing genres. Very rarely do you see a king and a cowboy next to each other.
Yeah.
It's a queen, bro.
Shout out to Big Leg.
Here we go again. It's getting hot. King, queen. I'm sorry.
I wish you had told me you were going to post that so I could tell my mom to get off the stream. Mom, please don't tune in right
now. Shit, man. If my mom was hanging out for that much.
Yeah. But it just, as it was taking off, it just reminded me of that whole Austin Powers joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen
it's
that.
A big joke.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that Jeffrey Bezos was charging his passengers $1 million.
Actually, one passenger who did take up was a female astronaut who was actually an original Merc astronaut that they never let. She trained for every single mission that they never let her participate. And Bezos finally took her into space. She was 82 years old.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool, too.
Here's a little personal story on a personal note. I applied for the space program back in 2012, and they were doing a recruiting drive, and they were requesting people with math degrees and engineering degrees, and I have a math degree. So I put in, they accepted my application, and I didn't hear anything back from them for the longest time. It was like 6 months, and then they sent me this little, postcard saying, "Hey, thanks for your application, but we've gone a different way." So for 6 whole months, I was in the space program, bro.
I was a candidate for 6 months.
Yeah,
Not bad.
I framed that rejection card. It's sitting in my office right now.
You
Not
have
bad.
to.
I do agree though, Ish, that yeah, we're definitely finally making some new strides that are going to change a lot of our way of life in the next 10 years, just breaking the atmosphere for regular citizens.
But they
is a
didn't break the atmosphere.
pretty big.
For 11 minutes, they did.
They did. They passed the Carmen line, which technically is space.
Yeah.
What about the radiation line?
So that's
They didn't get anywhere near that. That's way, way out. Be cool if they did, though.
Well, I mean,
also
Any
interesting,
penis
the,
can break the
new
radiation line.
Yeah.
The new Shepherd
it's a
craft,
start.
the exhaust was steam on Bezos's ship.
I thought it
For the
was
entire
money that was
flight.
coming out
That's
as
all
exhaust.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was steamed money. So this was actually a green flight. So on many levels, there's a lot of scientific progress going on here.
he was using
And I
the
thought
money
Brent's
to burn the fire under the pot of boiling water that made the steam.
I heard they were.
Well, I mean-
they were in space as long as you get a break at Amazon during a 16-hour shift.
That's right.
oh,
Wow.
That shit's real, too. That shit's real.
It's interesting
this
that
we're only a couple years away from transcontinental flights. Back in the days when they had the Concorde, you could fly over the ocean in less than 2 hours. I mean, we're headed.
Oh, I
right
can't
back
wait
in
for that.
direction.
That's what I want. I want that travel. Let's fix that. Then
Right?
we
We
go
can
to space.
finally
Like Tokyo
see
to
that the Earth
Phoenix.
is flat.
Yeah, and I spent 11 hours from LAX to Tokyo last week. I'm like, this is too long.
Put me on that dick ship for 11 minutes.
Yeah. You stroke the shaft, tickle the balls for 11 minutes. I don't care. Whatever you need.
I want to get some of
As
those.
long as they've got a
Skittles
holodeck, it's
went
all
up-
good.
Went up in space.
Have you guys ever seen the Concorde UFO video?
Mm-mm.
here we go. Rabbit hole.
Can I just say something real quickly?
What is that?
Now I'm
Yeah,
quoting a
It's a
friend
fucking
here.
UFO, bro.
What if UFOs are really alien billionaires?
For $1 million alien dollars, we'll take you to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are just alien billionaires checking us out.
They're like, we'll take you to Earth, but you have to keep the locks on the doors locked. All right, these American, this world we call Earth that we're gonna go visit, they're all fucked up. Don't let them in the aircraft. Okay, roll up the windows, lock the doors. Just look at them. You can't feed them. You can't touch them. You don't want to come in contact with them. But we'll take you for 1 bazillion alien space bucks. We will fly you by to see the chaos of these clowns on this planet.
As Ish was going through all of the accomplishments that are due to the innovation of Star Trek, he left one out. In Star Trek Next Generation, there was
which one?
an episode where Picard gets stuck on this planet with this guy who only talks in similes. And he says, Darmok Enchilada
Yes,
Tanagra.
of course, yes.
That was the invention of modern memes. He was way ahead of his time talking in memes.
With the wall spell.
So we have today's
With the
meme
wall
culture to thank for, or we have Star Trek to thank for today's meme culture.
Speaking of that, one of those aliens was in the Lower Deck season 2 trailer, so it was like, hilarity is going to ensue with that.
He's just going to be showing memes all the time.
Don't
Bezos
feed the
in the dick
humans.
into space.
My favorite one is him, but he's saying Padme in the right corner.
Yeah, memes. Star Trek did it first, man.
Gotta love them.
Good stuff. What? Any else?
There's
Anything
Patrick
else crazy?
McCracken in the chat. I want to say
Yeah.
crazy is Patrick McCracken in the chat. He came to the Liefeld signing, and this gentleman was one of the giddiest kids I've ever seen, and I think he had a great time.
I saw.
He was pacing like a wild animal in the line, just waiting for Rob.
I saw this one of the guys who showed up is a guy we know. A shout out to Danny, and he showed up with a bunch of original art, and he showed me some of the original art he had signed, man, and it was pretty amazing to see some of that art that people were bringing up there. He had covers and pages and crazy, really historical pages.
Deadpool. It was amazing.
Yeah, he had the cover for whatever that's Deadpool is, where Deadpool's got he's doing like that, and Spider-Man's in the background. I forget which cover that is. He had that. It was crazy, cool. Man.
I'm still thinking about
when the walls
to your left, you see Earth.
Yeah. So, anybody got anything else?
Yeah, I got one little bit of news. I didn't put it in the show notes, but I'm sorry. So, One Piece, my favorite manga, One Piece, has now surpassed Batman in total circulation. Batman is at 460 million copies in circulation, and One Piece has now gone to 493 million volumes in circulation.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
What, are you saying they print 460 million copies of Batman for each issue?
No. Total it's like 14,000 different Batman issues.
It says One Piece has,
so like cumulative.
As of now, has over 490 million copies of its manga currently circulating around the world. Wow.
Damn.
That's crazy. Since 1930, it says here, let's see here. And it seems that as the adventures of Luffy and his Straw Hat Pirates have managed to overtake the sales when it comes to DC Comics' Dark Knight, the Batman. With One Piece first debuting in 1997 via Weekly Shonen Jump, it's especially impressive that Oda's swashbuckling tale was able to overtake Gotham's favorite son in overall sales. Wow. Considering that DC Comics has been releasing comic books since 1939 and has had decades-long head start in terms of producing stories and releasing around 480 million. Cool. That's nuts. Well, it's amazing how the overall sales of manga just destroys comic books.
Yeah, there's a I think in France, there's a European country that gives high school graduates or college students a stipend to spend on art, on the consumption of art, and 70% of the funds that they give out of this stipend goes to manga.
What a great idea! First of all, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's like public patronage.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and Oda, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but Oda. Eiichiro Oda, who writes One Piece, gifted a signed color spread to France's president Emmanuel Macron, and it's just becoming this worldwide phenomenon that people are really tuning into, really digging. I've been consuming One Piece. It's been my primary source of entertainment for the last 15 years. But a lot of people are coming to it now towards the end of its story, and realizing what I've known all along, which is a terrific tale, and it's worth putting your money into.
Well, it's got to be good if they're consistently selling what they're selling, right? If it was garbage, they wouldn't be having the sales they have. So, and I know a lot of people have talked about One Piece and how good it is for the longest time, so I'm not surprised, but very interesting. You were talking about how great that was, that they gave the stipend and this and that. Just a stoner fact that I found out yesterday that I thought was really cool. I think it's in Denmark, something like that. It's one of the lowland countries. If you own any farmland, 5% of your farmland has to be flowers for the bees.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a couple countries that do that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is fucking cool. So
5% of my front yard is flowers for the bees.
Fucking A, man. Start throwing those wildflower seeds out there. Anyways, stoner
Throw the
fact.
marijuana seeds out there.
Yeah, you can't find those anymore, man. Those things are long gone. They've been gone for years. Do you want to get into
Let's do some comic reviews.
Yeah, before we
Hell
do
yeah.
comic reviews, I was in the I was in the States last week and I was watching TV and this came out of the blue. That's it. That's the end of the story. No. It was I saw that they had a trailer for Why the Last Man, and I love that story. I didn't know that for like 10 years they've been in like pre-production and switching companies, and there's a trailer for it. It comes out September sometime.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. You just said you came to the States. You didn't look any of us up?
I did. I hung out with Jay, I hung out with Lance, and I hung out with Corbin, and they came to see me. We went to like a little toy show in Tucson.
Oh, nice.
Thanks for the call, bro.
Well, I figure you were busy doing shady shit.
That doesn't mean I couldn't carve out some time for you.
I felt bad. I was going to stay there till August 4th, but I got a job, so I had to come back and move.
Yeah, I knew you were coming out for a couple weeks.
I was planning to stay 2 months, but I got this job, and then it was a lot of that, so I didn't get to hang. So next time, or you guys come to Guam, hang out on the beach. They do have one comic shop on the island, so.
Oh, are you going?
Now you're in Guam.
Yeah, so I'll be moving to Guam next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where my
So
brother.
next time you see me, I'll be so bronzy.
Yeah.
I got a couple buddies I was telling you that they grew up in Guam and then they moved to Hawaii, then they moved to here, and the whole time for years and years and years, that was their end goal, was to get back to Guam. Like that was they had so much fun living in Guam that's their goal, is just to go back to Guam.
It seems very polarizing for a lot of people because it's so small. I just put my a lease in for my beachfront apartment. The only problem is it's 720 square feet, so I've just been throwing out stuff. And the toughest thing in this whole move is the bins of comics. And I'm like, oh man, is this the time? Is this the time? And I couldn't throw any of them away, so the bins just come.
Nice. Here's your Why the Last Man news.
Yes.
Yep. Filming wraps on season 1 of FX Why the Last Man.
Any buzz on this? Have you heard anyone hear any buzz on this? If it's
I can't give much away, but shout out to Wanted Comics. Keep your eyes on Wanted Comics in the next couple of months. But for old school Why the Last Man fans. But I will say this: this is one of those books that. For the longest time, people that in the flipping and the speculation community have been waiting to take off. Yeah. And to finally see, I'm surprised it's actually happening, and it feels like everybody wanted it so much for the longest time, and it was just so good that it's been sitting in production hell for so long. I feel like it's not going to hit.
My problem is that there's no advertising for it.
Exactly.
I'm a huge Why Last Man fan. I found it out a month before it came out. No one knows about that this is coming out. I really want this to work. I don't want it to be like Preacher. I was really excited for that show, and it made like 3 seasons. And I could have kept watching it. Like I could have kept going, but I hope
Diane Lane's in it. Wow. You got Diane Lane. That's a pretty big deal.
It seems like built for this time too. I mean, you're going to have you can pretty much cast, so many female actresses are going to be cast in this and given like really great roles and some really great dialogue if it's anything like the comics.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, Why the Last Man is basically a place where like a cataclysmic event has killed every male mammal on the planet except for Yorick Brown and his faithful companion monkey Ampersand. As Yorick undergoes a dangerous odyssey to find out why he's the lone survivor, the remaining women of Earth try to figure out how to rebuild society following the death of half its population. So Brian K. Vaughan, man, just one of the all-time greats, titans, and
luckiest man ever.
I still can't wait for Paper Girls to come out.
Well, that's coming out too?
Yeah, soon. Supposedly soon.
Soon, hopefully.
We're supposed to be seeing some post-production stuff here shortly, I think. But,
I hope they nail the aesthetic. I hope they really make the colors pop. Like, I think Paper Girls, the key is what you're filming it on and how you're color correcting all those shots, because you kind of want it to pop like the colors in the comic do. Like, you kind of want that aesthetic.
There's so much that goes on in Paper Girls. I'm scared that it's not gonna transfer over right, because there's so much time jumping and there's so many different places that they're going. And with all the aliens and everything that they're doing, I'm scared that it's not going to transfer over right.
I think you'll have to streamline it and get rid of some things in the book just to make it more palatable within a season, enough to get people interested in it, which might not make fans happy. But if they could just be in that world and tell a good, solid story, I think it will. I think the characters,
because like a lot of the aliens, like in comic books, when the aliens talk, it'll say transcribed from, and then we can still read it. In Paper Girls, they didn't do that. None of that. So when they're talking to certain people, you have actually no idea what they were saying. I wonder if they're going to actually do stuff like that in the show, or is it, what I mean? Like, because it goes in crazy directions. If everybody's read Paper Girls, for a while, it gets so convoluted. It's so many. I don't know. I think it's going to be awesome, though.
I'm really looking forward to this. Joe's brought up the Cowboy Bebop live action stuff that's supposed to be coming to Netflix too. It'd be interesting to see if they can pull off a live action Cowboy Bebop.
Sam, that's got to be up your alley, right? Are you a big fan?
Yeah, so the same studio that's doing that Cowboy Bebop adaptation is also doing a live-action One Piece adaptation. And the Cowboy Bebop is way ahead of the One Piece adaptation, in that they have a cast and they have actually been filming and they actually have released some promo materials. Whereas all I know about the One Piece adaptation is they have some scripts and a showrunner, but they don't have a cast. They haven't started filming. They have started building some sets in South Africa. Like the pirate ship is there, but really looking forward to both of these. I enjoyed Cowboy Bebop. I don't know if you guys have all seen it, but
I loved it, dude. I loved to watch Cowboy Bebop. I remember Adult Swim back in the day, just chilling out, ending the day watching Cowboy Bebop. There was a lot of great shows on that just made me fall in love with anime.
Toonami is what was my baptism in anime too.
Yep.
Do you think that if Cowboy, say they come out, they get Cowboy Bebop going, it's on, it airs, and it bombs, it just absolutely bombs, do they continue to try again with One
I don't think
Piece,
it'll bomb
live action One Piece?
I don't think they're gonna
doesn't translate and it's bad and it bombs.
I'll tell you, Cowboy Bebop's feel is very similar to like a Firefly, and Firefly has an incredible cult following. It may not have gone very long, but it has great stories, and Cowboy Bebop is very similar in the narrative that it tells. So I don't see it as being like an unknown quantity. I think if they're looking at it and they're saying, you know what, if Firefly can do it, so can Cowboy Bebop. So I think there's precedent. I don't think Cowboy Bebop is going to be as tough to adapt as say, Death Note. I mean, not that Death Note would have been tough to adapt, but they just did it wrong.
They 100% did it wrong.
Or Dragon Ball is kind of a tough one to adapt. But One Piece, I think, is a very tough one to adapt because of the effects. The effects are intended to balance out the seriousness of the storyline. In the very first episode of One Piece, this dude gets shot in the head, killed dead. Yeah. And at the same time, the main character is made of rubber, and so he's like stretching comically while people are getting murdered right in front of his face. And that's the balance I think is really tough for One Piece. Whereas Cowboy Bebop, it's like, yeah, people understand this type of feel. It's been produced already. Yeah, you saw the comment says, yeah, it's more like a Blade Runner. I mean, yeah, but the crew itself, like the dynamic of the crew is very much like a Firefly-esque crew. They're all just kind of eclectic, and they each have their own agendas. But in being on that ship, they find a cohesion that keeps them together through the runtime. So it's very much like Firefly in that dynamic, I'd say. So I don't think it's going to be that tough to adapt Cowboy Bebop, but One Piece is a totally different story.
We were
Firefly
talking about
in the sky. Hey, fuck you.
we were talking about Toonami and all that stuff. Did anybody see the Full Metal Alchemist live action stuff? Was that any good? Because the Full Metal Alchemist was also another one that I really liked back in the day.
Yeah, it fell flat. Full Metal
Really?
Alchemist did fall flat. The live action. It's just the problem that you have with the movie length adaptations is that a lot of what these stories are giving you is just long stories that delve really, really deep. And if you're only giving it 2 hours, it's going to be real tough. So successful anime adaptations I've seen is the Bleach adaptation was pretty decent because it kept things small. It didn't try to cover too much. It was very, very wise in the scope that it was going to take on. It didn't go into the Soul Society at all. It was just very much like the first half of the first season of Bleach.
Bleach is probably one of the greatest animes made next to Trigun.
Yeah, I mean, it's very enjoyable. I think up through the Soul Society, I think is very good. And then even into like the Arankars is okay. But then once it gets past the Arankars, it kind of loses its way. The author was having some real difficulty with the editorial staff at Shueisha at that time. And you can really tell in the story how it just kind of, it loses its grip. It loses the thread. And then as the story wound down, it was like rushed. And so now they're coming back to him and they're asking him to write more. So there's going to be more Bleach content to try and make up for, the Bleach anime even got canceled before it finished the story.
When I lost interest in Bleach is when they were doing the backstories, and you know how there's huge periods of time that, it's most anime, but like Bleach, there's huge periods of time that are skipped. It'll start on something and you only see one piece of it, and then they started going back and filling in those little loops of time that you didn't actually get to see everything that was going on. That's where I kind of lost Bleach. Yeah. Now you're going back and they're doing like these filler stories of, okay, they came to this city and did this, and now there's this whole arc of just what happened there instead of
that was a big problem with Bleach, is that their filler arcs were not good. And for those who don't understand what a filler arc is these animes are adaptations of a manga storyline that was written by an author. And oftentimes the animes are started 2 or 3 years after the manga is started. And so the anime will often adapt 2 or 3 chapters of manga content for each episode. And eventually you find you have this problem where there's not enough manga content to fill your time slot. And so the anime production studios will come up with new content that's not part of the canon storyline of the manga, and they call that a filler arc. And some anime studios do it very well, and other anime studios don't. And Bleach really struggled with its filler arcs. Naruto seemed to find a lot of success with its filler arcs. One Piece has limited filler arcs, and what they've done with One Piece is they're stretching out, and what you end up doing is you have these really long episodes, kind of like in Dragon Ball Z, where they used to just like power up for a whole episode. You just hear Vegeta grunting for an entire episode. Yeah, exactly. And that was how each studio kind of tries to fill or stretch the material as much as they can. My Hero Academia has done something totally different, which I think is wise, where they're not adapting, or they're not animating 50 episodes a year. They're only animating like 20 episodes a year, and they're doing it in seasons. And so that allows the manga to stay far ahead of the anime, so they're not adapting too much and having to pad runtime with poor filler arcs. Whereas One Piece has committed to giving you a new episode every week. and Bleach was committing to doing an episode every week. So there's these different problems, but the Bleach, what I'm saying about the adaptations is the Bleach adaptation, the movie is decent. I think it's worth a watch. If you'd like Bleach, I think you'd be satisfied with the way they treated it. Also, if we're talking about adaptation news, One Punch Man, Sony owns the rights to do a One Punch Man live adaptation. Looking forward to that one, seeing how that turns out.
I don't know. It's Sony. We'll see. So
we're good.
Well, what?
You ready, Kyle?
Yeah, let's do some. There you go. So this is Nightwing 82. We're gonna do a couple comic reviews to finish out the show. Nightwing 82. This explains the death of Dick's parents and why they really got killed, which is interesting. I'm glad Solo's here because Solo's a big fan of Dick.
I love Dick.
But so it starts out is if you know when we reviewed the last issue was it ended with, "Hey, I'm your sister." That's kind of right here, and as this is happening, he's like, Linda's like, "Here, I've got somebody that will be able to fill in these blanks," because he's like, I think I would have known if I would have had a sister. I think this is. I think I would have known. I've gone deep into looking, and she goes, "Well, here, I'll let you meet somebody, and she'll explain it." So what happens is Linda's mom is who Dick meets, and what happens is she sits down and she's like, "Well, when I was a kid, Falcone was crime family. It's this person. I was running away." And what happened was Dick's parents, and this is before they were actually together, is when they're explaining this. So they were kind of just trapeze artists together. They liked each other, but they weren't together. They weren't married. Nothing. This was the early state. That's when they were younger. And as he's coming up, they kind of detour him. She hides in there. And what happens is Dick's dad, before they got married, kind of had a little bit of fun, but he didn't jimmy up. So what happens is they come back. They take Linda's mom, and she was actually pregnant. She was pregnant with a girl, and what happens is they had the baby. They kind of tried to play it off like, she wasn't a Grayson. It was, and then he ends up bailing. And when she goes back to tell Dick's dad, yes, Hartman, Dick was hatless. They went back, and by the time she had gone back to actually say, "Hey, you got a daughter," Dick was already born. And she didn't want to ruin that family dynamic. Dick's parents they had been married. It had been a number of years later. Dick had already been born. And so what happened was Tony finally comes back and he killed the Graysons to get back at him. And that's kind of what this entire issue was about. It was explaining that why. So now they explain why that, then, shortly after this is, Bruce, adopts him. But so this is the new story of why the Flying Graysons were murdered.
So we got another person to the Bat family now.
We have another person to the family now. Yeah, the Bat family now.
That's what that needs. We need that Bat. That family needs another member.
Gator, don't play that. So that was kind of this issue, which I mean, like, Chad, you're a Nightwing fan. What are your thoughts on filling in this blanks and making this is the reason why the Flying Graysons were murdered?
Wait, is this Vegeta?
torn.
Is Vegeta powering up? He's like,
I
don't like
Spirit bomb.
I'm torn, and it goes right back to that whole what we were talking about earlier with He-Man. Like, I'm okay with the new storyline, and I think it's cool that we're getting some new storyline and some new different, because I do like some new Strange, especially when we're talking about Dick. But do we have to change it? Like, really? And just what Travis just said. Do we really need another person for the Bat family? Like, the Bat family has now gotten almost overdone.
She's
You know
not
what I
yet
mean? Like,
part of the Bat family.
it's coming. It's coming. It's Dick.
Because right now she's still the mayor of Bloodhaven.
oh, she's gonna get caped up. She's gonna get caped up at some point.
I mean, the original story was just, I don't know. I do like that they did finally think about going back and telling it. I'm just not sure that me, as who I am and what I've read in the history, I don't know if it was what I wanted. So I feel a little bit jaded. Like, I didn't get what I want.
Yeah.
But I think if I kind of go back and read it again and not think about it so selfishly, I think I'll enjoy it a whole lot more.
Well, we're running out of bird names for all these Bat family members. She's got to be like Dodo or something like that.
Toucan.
Yeah.
No, you know what?
Dodo.
Don't forget that tits is an option when you're talking about bird names.
Is that a bird?
True.
Tits, boobies.
And your brother
Booby
is
the
named,
Bird. Yeah.
and your brother is named Dick. So I mean,
Taking Booby.
it would fit in there.
I like that.
Yeah, it was nice to see that they actually finally went back and thought about it and tried to do something with it. The more I think about it, the more I warm up to it. But at first, I felt real jaded. Like, that's not what I wanted. Why do you have to change it?
It could be the Adventures of Dick and Boobies.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bad. I mean, yes. Now I'm curious. What are they going to actually do with Melinda now that this has happened? So what are we really going to do?
I feel like you could wallpaper your bathroom with all the panels in Batman history of the flying Graysons falling from that thing.
Laying
right?
there dead.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
There's a lot.
Paper. I'm not saying like a living room, but definitely a bathroom, a guest bathroom. You could wallpaper that with.
Yeah, the water closet or just the powder bath.
Yeah, your
Not
dresser
like a
drawers,
full
no
Jack and
problem.
Jill. Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get them, and then I'm just gonna line my dresser drawers with them. That's like cool. This is like the Dick drawer.
This is the Dick drawer.
this is where the dicks go to die. Right here.
This is where Solo stores all his vibrators.
Oh my gosh.
This is where dicks go to die.
That's funny.
But I am curious to see what they're actually going to do with her now. Like, where is the story really going to go? Okay, what is he going to do now that he has a sister? Like, are they really going to?
Yeah,
digging the art in that issue looked cool.
It's
been really good.
Yeah, the last, even since Future State. I mean, even that whole line, Nightwing all through that was good. One of the few that I thought was even readable or digestible. So, and I'm glad that they're bringing up something kind of new. I really hope they don't dive off the deep end with it. I hope they slow play it a little bit and just deliver it to us softly and give us a really good, well-planned, well-thought-out story.
So you want a soft dick?
I want some. Feed it to me softly. Slow burn, baby.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool getting a little more in depth of a Grayson's murder. I actually thought that was cool. So
Yeah, it was.
I'm surprised they haven't done like a street level version of the story where they have like some rookie detective. We flashback miniseries trying to solve the Grayson murder. You know, I feel like this story that death is so pivotal in the DC universe, but it's been approached from so many different angles. And like you said, this is a new angle on it. So if you really are enamored with that part of the Batman lore, that main event, then of course, yeah, pick it up, because if that's what you gravitate towards. But for some people who are like, oh, just tell a news story, I could see it being disappointing.
Right. And
I mean, Redrick does have a good point. Which Batman family will she date and cause a crossing of the dicks?
That's true.
And that's a little bit how I felt at first, was just like, can we do something new? I mean, I don't know. And I don't. So you've got the world's greatest detective, and these people died. This was how many years ago, and you're still now just coming out with it? Like, whatever. You know, okay. Acceptance is the key.
I didn't think it was bad. I enjoyed it. I really did.
Good.
It was well written, and the artwork's very well done.
What else we got?
The last thing we have is Dark Blood #1.
Mm-hmm.
That was it's a Boom Studios. It's an easy read.
It's quick.
It was quick. I think it's 6 issues, and I think they didn't really pack a whole lot into it.
You could literally read it in under 2 minutes.
Yep, you can. That's
you really could. So it kind of starts out. He's walking. He's coming down.
Really care for it.
It kind of it bounced between like 10 years before his variants, a year before his variants, 6 years before his variants, and then present day. So there was 4 different times of going on it as it was flipping back and forth. So so obviously he was in the war. It kind of starts out, but what it shows is some dude is trying to kill him, which I'd like to get into this more. Like, why was he following him? It didn't really. Dude just walked up.
He was saying something about, he's like, you go and talk to all your customers that way, and there was that side of it.
Like this guy just decided
1950s.
Go out and murder someone in public, and out of sheer racism.
Yeah, and you could see that there is that whole 50s racist tone in this book. But he doesn't have a power.
An N-word.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They drop an N-word, and
but he's about to get killed. He has some kind of power, and he's about to fuck dude up with his power. And it kind of bounces back to where whatever's going on, it's reminding him of the war.
Mm-hmm.
And his power, he could stop bullets. That was kind of cool. Scares him.
The splash page where they show the bullet first dropping through that bottle is pretty dope.
Yeah, the artwork is pretty good. I think that's probably the strength of the comic is the art.
So during this, he's a fighter pilot. He gets shot down behind enemy lines, and he kind of is stuck behind enemy lines, and then it kind of bounces back to this. And then this dude ends up getting hit by a car.
Parachute.
Yes. And then this guy with the gun ends up getting hit by a car. And then it kind of bounces back to 6 months before the variants, which I'm assuming is whatever gives him his powers. And you can see that it's, growing in his back. And this is kind of, I'm assuming where he is he's being tested. There's whatever happened to him. They're now, I don't know if it's the government or the army or what.
They leave you hanging on that last panel, like, oh, what's calling him out? And here's the thing: the rest of the issue didn't elicit a questioning from me. I was Oh, I didn't even I wasn't even curious about what was happening at the end of it. I was like, I didn't even think about it. I didn't go, well, what could this be? Is he being tested? Is he waking up at his girlfriend's place? I was just like, I don't need to know that one. The art is there for a good run, as Ish was saying. I think it's a good looking book. I just don't think that there's not enough to hang your hat on this book. There's nothing that pulls me in that seems like a good comparison would be Geiger, right? So Geiger is a new superhero they introduced a couple of months ago, a new character with powers, we shall say. And that first issue was able to give you a taste of what his kind of power set is in his world, but at the same time keep you engaged for a first issue introducing a new character. And this fell short of that, I think.
I agree. I'm not hungry for issue 2. If I read issue 2, cool. If I don't, I'm not. It's not something that I'm I'm not like, oh God, I can't wait for issue 2 to come out. If I actually remember in a month that this book came out, I might read issue 2. But as Hartman did, it's not our bag.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone by issue 3 is like, oh no, you got to read to issue 3, and then it really takes off. I would be like, okay. I mean, I could see that.
I could go back and do it, but I'm not hankering for an issue 2. I'm not stoked for an issue 2. It wasn't it's always worth giving number ones a decent chance. But that's it. So, and on that note, I'm not going to pull a Marco.
Wait. Anybody pick up Moon Knight number 1?
I read it.
I didn't get to Moon Knight number 1.
And
Marco always talked Moon Knight number 1, so I was like, you know what? We're going to do since he's not here, we're definitely going to do Moon Knight number 1. But I actually didn't read. Did you guys actually read it? I know Travis read it. Did you read it?
I couldn't read it because it sold out. It sold out instantly. So I never even got a chance. I was actually quite surprised at how fast it sold out.
Have you talked to people at your store about why they like Moon Knight? Like the character? Oh, do you? What's the joke?
It's just I was like, okay, you just it's like a bandwagon almost, and then it's you know anything about Moon Knight? Then the whole Moon Knight is Marvel's Batman, and it's like that's so ridiculous. It's
I don't like to come on.
Moon Knight's
I feel
kind of it's hip. It's hip to be a Moon Knight fan.
Yeah,
but there are actual not any service to actual Moon Knight fans, but it is a Bronze Age book. Have you read it? I think the true Moon Knight fans have read the Bronze Age books. I'll just leave that on the table. But this was definitely a hot book.
So what are you saying about me then, Ishwan?
Oh, the wife is calling out
my wife is a Moon Knight fan, and I know she's got the Moon Knight on the bookshelf. She's read it, and
Trouble in Paradise sounds like.
Moon Knight is something I can never get into. It just always seems so bland to me and boring.
I've learned that it's best to keep your Moon Knight opinions to yourself.
Yeah.
That's why when you were like, "Oh, read Moon Knight number 1," I was like, "I'm gonna keep that to myself."
So you didn't read it, or did you read it?
I did read it. I mean, I did the Lemire one. I read a couple of Moon Knight runs because I've tried to figure out.
Lemire one's considered maybe one of the top runs.
Yeah, that's why I went to that one when people were like, "Okay, we did it for our podcast." We looked at the Lemire one, and I don't understand the appeal of the character. I mean, there's been different angles to him, right? Sometimes it's the psychotic multiple personality angle. Sometimes it's much more of like the Egyptian. This one is much more of the fist of the Egyptian godhead that gave him his powers, right? And I think I honestly, after the few runs I've read like 2 runs of Moonlight, Jeff Lemire's, and maybe a Golden Age one. And this one was one that I could see having potential, certainly over those, just because they really do a good job of establishing, because there's so many different restarts of Moon Knight that they're kind of giving you the exposition. Of course, he's talking to, I think it's a psychologist. I feel like Moon Knight does a lot of couch. He's always working out his issues.
A
But
lot of
sometimes
psychology going on. Yeah.
sometimes he's like very modern, sardonic language, like, yo, what's happening over here, brother? And then other times it's like, by the Moon Knight. Yeah, he's Hulk Hogan. Hey, brother. And then sometimes it's very like kind of like that stylized Shakespearean, like, I am the fist of the Egyptian gods. And I'm like, wait, where's this guy? Where's this guy on the scale of who is he as a person? I think Moon Knight is going to be whoever Oscar Isaac makes that character.
Exactly.
Kind of like Tony Stark did it. Yeah. So Oscar Isaac doesn't really have a challenge of playing Moon Knight. He has a challenge of creating who Moon Knight is. Because if you were given that role and just given a bunch of all these Moon Knight runs, you'd be like, I don't know what the quintessential Moon Knight is.
If that show is good, that could bump Moon Knight into kind of the A-list for characters, just like Guardians of the Galaxy or even Iron Man.
Yeah, he has an open road to define who that character is.
All they can do is ruin it.
Yeah, exactly.
What about, guys? So on July 7th, which mere 2 weeks ago, Marvel released a facsimile edition of Werewolf by Night number 32. It's $3.99 cover price on the facsimile edition. Then we saw it on eBay, and there was on auction. Suddenly it was $125. Then I checked; it was $510. It finally sold for $810 plus shipping. A $3.99 facsimile edition that was released 2 weeks ago. This is the insanity of both Moon Knight and eBay combined. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, that's some I can ride a dick into outer space money right there. Like, I can just sign me up for the next penis rocket to space so that I can just waste money.
Well, I'm sure the guy's going to get the comic's going to arrive and he's going to be like, what's this glossy paper? Oh, wait a minute. It's $3.99.
What's the comic again?
It's a Werewolf by Night number 32.
Oh, I thought you said a Moon Knight by 32. I'm like, what?
Which first appearance of Moon Knight?
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't Moon Knight the character that goes random bullshit go? Isn't that him?
I would take that money and spend it on a Poon Night. You know what I'm saying, Solo? You know what I'm saying, Solo?
I'm trying to find that listing.
When there's 40, stacks out there and all the LCSs, I'm gonna go buy that $3.99 facsimile and go get the Poon Night. That's what I'm talking about.
The Poon Got the Maricopa Cabana, baby.
I'm in the Maricopa Cabana. So
I think that was off air.
Oh, I think I found it.
This is Oscar Isaac's like Star Wars. Moon Knight is going to be in Dune. That guy's star is rising.
Yeah, he's becoming the go-to pop culture guy.
He's
franchise
Chris
guy.
Pratt.
Yeah, it's a good comparison.
Pratt's on the way out. Oscar Isaac in the way in. Have you guys seen the new
Oscar
Dune trailer
Isaac
that just dropped?
The what now?
The new Dune trailer.
I heard it was good. I haven't watched it yet.
Man,
is this what you're talking about right here?
God, you gotta be kidding me, man.
$810.
Yes, look at that ridiculousness. And everyone's like, it's a scam, it's a scam. If you do scroll down in the details, it says release date 2021. So yeah, maybe the guy should have put reprint in the headline, but he didn't because he's fishing for morons and he found 810 divided by 399 amount of morons.
I mean, in his defense, it does say $3.99 right here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and if
not
you miss
like
that, then you look down and it has the release date.
He didn't try to hide anything.
He's getting this book back and he's refunding $800 and
it's so ripe for a refund.
$808.
But that's
right here back. Though. If you read the entire,
but that's the buyer beware, caveat emptor. Like you should have read the shit.
I
read
agree,
all of it.
2021.
You do not stop to.
I don't.
$810. I mean, that's gonna be a record for a facsimile edition.
For a facsimile, you might as well shut down
for
that
a raw
site.
facsimile.
Yes, so shut down that site and start a new one because you will never sell another book out of that site ever again. Once that hits, the community, the comic community, everyone will be like, "This dude is." I mean, yes, I get it. You should have read the whole listing and looked at the $3.99, but that is just.
I mean, look right here. This picture right here.
That is
he even shows a close up of the corner. This is $3.99. It's not like.
And I bet you it's like some brand new off the rack Moon Knight fan who bought it.
I mean, and he is right, man. It's set to CGC. You're right. It is nice looking. It is 9.8.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is going to get a lot of hate for it.
Spend another $100 getting it.
This is what I expect from a Moon Knight fan. This is what you're going to get.
Okay, here we go. Now you're sleeping on the couch too.
Guess what? You know what? I'm coming. Guess who I'm coming for next? Venom fans. You're next, buddy.
Blade fans. Oh, they're going to be right.
That's crazy. All I know is I am now looking for $3.99 facsimiles so I can start a new eBay account and sell them at $800 because that is just crazy.
That's called pumping the bubble of the market, man. You're going to be market manipulating.
I mean, there's nowhere in this listing that he lied. Yes, he could have wrote facsimile here too, but Werewolf by Night 32, it says 32. He could have wrote facsimile. He could, but
Sam, you're in the law. How would you rate this? This is what would you do? Is there a case here to be made on a refund based on?
Yeah. So the question is, did he commit fraud? Is this consumer fraud? Buyer beware is not a thing anymore. The American law has taken that out. So now the question is fraud. Did he explain what it was sufficiently in the description? That's the real question.
He did start it at $1. So you know what? After this guy right here, no one else could have bid it. After it was $6, no one else could have bid it.
It is an auction.
It went from $6 to $55.
Yeah, I don't think the seller did anything wrong. There's nothing that indicates he was trying to deceive anybody, but it is just a case of unsophisticated buyers.
Absolutely.
Can you return stuff like that on eBay, guys? Can you like cancel your orders?
eBay favors the buyer over the seller.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the time.
Yeah,
even to the point if you can show like, here's the details. I didn't scam anyone. There's no reason to refund.
And it is an auction. I mean, he really didn't. It is an auction, but at the same note, it should have said facsimile in the headline, in the title. And I think, boy, I don't know. That's a slippery slope. Me as a person and a human being that likes to sleep at night and has trouble when sleeping at night when I feel like, hey, I may have actually went out and purposely screwed people over for money. I like to be honest, and I like to have an honest, clean name. I would have trouble sleeping at night over that one.
Can you click on the seller's page, Kyle? Can you take us into what else he's got for sale?
Redrick asks, what's this done to the Hulk 181 facsimile? Actually, I think 9/8 CGC graded 9/8 of the facsimile run for a couple $100,
120 or 200, something like that.
Oh,
so they're up there, but I mean, even up to not 800.
Yes, it's not 800, but even 300 for a facsimile edition. I don't know.
So this guy sells comics, so it wasn't just like, I got picked up these things. I don't really know I don't know what a facsimile is. This guy knows what he's doing. Like, obviously. Yeah.
He's got it, was just one of those ones that for some reason went out of control.
Jeez,
it's
that's
the Moon
crazy.
Knight craziness. It's moon fever.
God, it could be, man. It could be. That's nuts.
It's a full moon.
There you go, folks. Pick up your facsimiles and
from BJR Comics.
Auction that off.
I mean,
someone says seller's policy has 30-day return.
Oh, okay.
I mean, in all actuality, once I got it, I was like, "Fuck!" I just paid $810 for $4 for a facsimile. Like, but like, but I would have as a buy. Okay, ooh, Werewolf by Night 32. Ooh, it's at $6. I would have said, "Oh, look, it says $3.99 right there." Especially when I got to the second picture.
I mean, if you think that's an actual real one, you're like, man, this is a bargain.
I just scored. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that's someone definitely went in eager because they saw it and they were like, oh my God, that book is huge. Like that book right now is bank. It's what is it 1,200 to 2,500 now? What's this book going for now?
It's just going up and up and up and up.
It's in the thousands. So I mean, this guy saw that and he was like, "Oh, dude, I just score of a lifetime," and he's gonna get it in the mail and be like, "What the hell happened?"
I mean, the dude who paid $810 has to be pissed because look, this dude just bought it for $287.
Right.
Well, is that a 9.8 guaranteed 9.8?
But I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I mean, like I did that. I've told this story before on the show. I did it once on I bought a Walking Dead #1 and a Walking Dead 27. I got super excited because it was low and I hurried up and bid, and it ended up being the Spanish versions. So everything was in Spanish. And I only ended up buying it for like $22. And so I did kind of, I was like, and I did honor it. Hey, I bid on it.
Don't drink
I won it. I mean, I bought it. I bid on it. I won. So I did buy it. The good thing is the guy never sent it to me. So I got my money back. So
I've done it. I've done it too. I found a one of the holographic his Wolverine and Drake in when you turn it one way and then you turn it a little bit and it's Fantastic Four 112. I always look for the FF1. Yeah, the lenticulars. I always look for that FF 112. It's one of my go-to books. I love that book. I'm always looking for the highest grade possible. So when I saw this one for like it was ridiculous low, $20 or $30 or something like that. I was like, dude, that's a score. I didn't read. I get it in the mail. I'm like, I'm an idiot. I knew exactly what had happened. And sure enough, he had it all written. I mean, I ate it. I still got the book. I should get it graded just as a, because it was 100% my fault.
I mean, here's I mean, you can see it right here, 25 cents. But this one went for $1,300.
Yeah. See, I thought they were
so pretty close to a facsimile edition. But I mean, even right here in 75, Bronze Age, that other listing said, 7/7/2021. I mean,
yeah, it did. That's crazy.
The Moon Knight trade paperbacks, the Epic collection. So they had 3 volumes, and about maybe a year and a half, 2 years, the second volume came out. It went out of print, and then it was going on Amazon for $200. $200 for just a trade paperback, volume 2. And now Marvel has come back and re-released new printings, and it's like boop, back down to $30 or whatever the cover price is. Now volume 3 is the one that's like $100 for Moon Knight. It's crazy. Even the collected trade paperbacks can be hundreds of dollars.
Well, here's a 32 replica 6.9. It says 32 on it.
6.9
or 9.6. Sorry about that. I've had too many White Claws tonight.
They gave me a 6.9.
I've always wanted a 9.5 graded book.
Ugh.
We had a lady, we were talking about returning or refunding comic books. For the second time ever, we had someone return comic books to the store today.
What?
What did they
But
return?
it was different. She put the stack down, and she's like, "I'm bringing
Rob
these
Liefeld.
back."
He's like, I'm returning these two
And
Rob
for a second, I was
Liefeld.
like, "Bringing these back? Like, I'm not refunding your books." And she was like, "Literally, we read them all, and we're just giving them back to you." So I was like, that's actually kind of cool. They're all
So they
from, like,
donated
dollar
them
bin.
back.
Yeah, they donated them back, and she was like, "We read them. That's all that they served their purpose. We read them all. You can have them back."
I love that.
That was pretty cool. We did have someone once literally come. They read the John Carpenter Year of the Villain Joker book. He literally came back. He's like, "I read this comic. It stank. I want my money back."
Oh,
Like, all sales are final, bro.
Wow.
Well, you
Yeah,
had a
that's
lady
funny when
go
I
back.
put the receipt, the register receipt sometimes to people. I'm like, always ask, "Do you want the receipt?" And they'll be like, No, I'm not going to return these. I'm like, yeah, I know you're not going to return them.
That's great.
Anybody got anything else?
Anybody get any pickups? Who's got pickups? Anybody get anything?
Not this week.
I did. My whatnots came in.
I picked these.
Smoking deals.
Well, let's start with
Finally,
Ish. He's
I
got a
waited.
couple. Oh, now Brian's not here to do the show. That's Sam.
Hey, what's up?
There we go.
Look at that.
Those are tight. I like those.
Those are nice.
Oh, you got them
You know
both
what?
signed by.
Decent normal feet, normal ankles. Rob did a good job.
It was a good.
Yeah,
Wait,
those are good.
Wait, go back. Go back to the other one.
The face, crotch face.
He's got no knees.
Those are good.
They had variants of these, and they had two variants. I forget what store. There were store exclusives. There was one Snake Eyes holding a sword, and then the reflection was Storm Shadow, and then the other one was Storm Shadow holding a sword, and the Snake Eyes reflection. And those were badass. I wish I can get my hands on those.
And then
Cool.
you said you got some pickups, right?
I did. I got super lucky. Been watching Whatnot and hitting those up every now and then, which is kind of fun. I need to have my own Whatnot and get rid of about half of the crap you can't see down my hall and on the floor. But I was lucky and I picked up a 1 of 1,000 Eddie Nunez variant.
Mm-hmm.
TMNT number 80.
Score!
He
Whoa.
likes Ninja Turtles.
Dude, I love Ninja
I like
Turtles.
turtles. I like turtles.
I like turtles.
I love turtles.
I like ninja snacks.
And in the back.
So I couldn't convince you to buy a Ninja
Oh, look
Turtles
at that.
Pez. Come on, man.
That's great.
I know.
Yeah, I love it. And this has kind of got a crazy story behind it, and I should have wrote everybody's name down. So I went on Whatnot, and they are a new platform. I get it. I went on there and I won a book for next to nothing, and it had told me that my payment didn't go through. So I hit it again. And it said, your payment didn't go through. And I thought, well, maybe they're just having an issue with my card or it's being locked down or something for some reason. So I put in my credit card and I tried it. And it said, again, your payment, there was an issue with your payment, didn't go through. And I was like, now something ain't right. Because I know that's there's no way. So I went and looked at my debit card and my credit card. So it charged me 3 times. But every time it told me it didn't go through. So I very quickly and specifically asked them, please remove 2 of them and keep the 1. I do not want to lose that book because it was a smoking deal. And because, I won the auction. Anyway, what they did is they went through. So when that happens, and unfortunately, the person of the night, Manimal, he does another podcast too.
It was a woman of the night, was it?
The person of the night. That's very PC of you.
The person of
I
the
hired
night,
a person of the night
that was holding the auction. goes by Manimal. He is on another podcast channel and everything. And he got no sales that night. There was a problem with Whatnot and their app, and so none of the sales went through. And I didn't know who it was that was holding it because I just happened to catch it, while I was on there. So someone I put a picture on Instagram and I was like, man, I am so bummed they canceled all of them. Now I don't get the book. And like, I got a smoking deal, yada, yada. A friend of his that also follows my Instagram hit me up and he goes, dude, I know who that was. And he DM'd me and gave me the info. And I was like, man, I love your face. You're the best. And freaking kisses and hugs. And so I was able to get a hold of him and I got the book. I paid a little bit more, but I'm okay with it because it still wasn't outrageous.
Oh, that's
cool.
That's the old Clone Wars.
Yeah. But
that's the Gendy Tartakovsky style.
Yeah. And this is, it's not an easy book to find. It's not, especially, and I'm okay with 9.4, 9.6, 9.8, 9.2s. That's all. I am
6,
just
9.
fine with it. But that's the Clone Wars number 4. The variant, and Milton variant. I love it. I love it. So I was super stoked that came in, and I won't tell you how it got lost in the mailboxes because my mail lady is goofy. But I love her. It was there today. It was there yesterday, but I could access it today, and super stoked.
Nice, cool. That's a cool Clone Wars pickup. Anybody got anything else?
I don't have a pickup, but we have cemented the start of the Triple D Dodgeball League in September 22nd. You can catch Triple D Dodgeball League coming back at you in live stream.
It's fun watching the live stream dodgeball.
And I think Corbin's he seems like he's interested in coming back too. So you can watch Corbin come play dodgeball too.
Awesome.
I'm all over that. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
And on that note,